What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. I'm here with Nonfiction. We are your fanalists for today, and we're going to go ahead and see how bad our prediction was last year. What's good with you, Non?
Oh, not much, brother. Just loving the rhetoric from the predictions. People have just been mad at my stuff. I love it. I love it.
I'll tell you what, we actually did get a couple comments from this year's one that we reposted after the live, and actually got some pretty okay comments. Like some obvious, people favor their team, think their team's gonna do better.
Oh,
just how everybody comes at me about my Saints. So I respect that. But most of the time when you reply, that they think it's all good. Mikey, what is up with you? Let's go with you, Derek L. A couple other people in the building. Appreciate you all for stopping by, getting in here early. We do have a really fun stream today. Like I said, we're going to go back and take a look at our predictions from last year, see where we went wrong, where we went right, and all that good stuff. And then what we'll also do at the end for a little bit is we're going to go over the draft that took place last Friday and give a grade for each team. We'll make that quick, see how much time we got, and we'll do all that, man. So it's just time for a good one. Mikey said, what is good? Man,
what's
not
good,
too much, man. Living, brother, living.
I'm still here. I'm going to disable my camera for a quick second, but I'm still here.
All right, I got you. So I did post in the chat just a second ago, right as we turned on. We still have some spots remaining in our second fantasy league. If you've never done a fantasy league, this is the perfect one to start with. It is free, but there is a prize at the end. Whoever ends up winning will receive a specialized custom gift from both me and Nonfiction. Right now, we have 8 players in the league. We're willing to go up to 12, so technically we have 4 more spots if you'd like to join. The draft is on Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time. It takes, roughly about probably around 2 hours or so. Or so. Please, if you're interested in that, go and join it. And then one last thing before we get into it, just because they only have about 36-ish hours left. Let me see if I can remember what I even typed it as. I think it was either ink or tattoo. I'm gonna try a couple different ones. I think it was ink.
Oh yeah, the link. I think it was ink.
Let's see. Doesn't look like either of those are working. Let's try tattoo. If I can't get it to pull up, I'll pull it up later. But my buddy Austin is in the running, currently in 3rd place. Was in 1st for a little bit a couple days ago, to have a chance at being a cover on a magazine called Ink Magazine. He's a fully tatted up
cover
person.
model.
Yeah. Austin thinks he's a good looking guy. He all right. He got his thing going, but he got a bunch of tattoos and he wants to show them off. So I'm gonna figure out how to get that link working again a little bit later.
I'm pulling up right now. I'm looking through the things right now, and I'll put it there.
Perfect. So before we get started, I see we do have a couple Saints fans in here, Mikey and Derek L. What is y'all's thoughts before we get into today's topics on our 53-man roster? I haven't talked with Hoodie or Dolph or any of them yet, but I would assume that I'll get with them at some point next week and join either one of them or both of them on a stream. But it was definitely interesting. I'm definitely a little upset about Traquan making it. I mean, happy for him, but a little upset that we didn't give any of these young guys that started showing out a little bit during preseason a chance to, just seal in their spot, man. That was definitely a surprise. I know a lot of people were upset about trading away Lutz and getting rid of Gilligan. I'm okay with it, to be honest. I'm okay with it. I know, special teams are very important, but we have lost games because of special teams the last 2 years. Gilligan has some great punts, but they're not always great. It feels like it's 1 in every 4. And then Lutz with his injury, I mean, it's just better to be safe than sorry. So I'm not too mad at it. But yes, that is the link right there. Mikey said, I'm glad Bradley Roby is gone. Are you? Bradley Roby was definitely a dude that I didn't think had like phenomenal upside, but he got in there and did his job. There wasn't a whole lot of times that I was just like, damn you, Bradley. What are you doing? He did what he had to do for the most part. So it didn't bother me that often. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into a kind of a long stream today. So with no hesitation, we're going to start this thing up. I am going to try and record this as well. So guys, let me know if on y'all's end, y'all start seeing us get a lot really like laggy or start buffering a whole bunch. If we do, I'll go ahead and stop the recording, but I'm gonna go ahead and start the recording now. Hopefully it all works out fine. But here is our recap to last year's record predictions for each team during the 2022-2023 NFL season. And obviously, right away, you can see the big mistake that was made. And we also, man, we were harsh on a lot of teams, bro. I didn't realize how harsh we were last year. We were mean,
yeah, we were
bro.
harsh.
Why were we so mean last year? I think we must have not slept good.
I think some of them might have been deserved though. Some of them kind of deserved.
some of them a little bit, but man, we were just brutal. I think we woke up on the wrong side of the bed whenever we did this. But nevertheless, let's take a look. We'll go.
We got a couple right though. We did get a couple right.
Yeah, we got the mid-range people pretty much on point. We'll go ahead and work our way top to bottom. So obviously I think the biggest miss is just our excitement for a Rams team that was going to be good in back-to-back seasons. That obviously just did not happen. It didn't help the fact that Cooper Kupp got hurt, that Matthew Stafford got hurt, but overall as a team, they looked really bad last year. They finished off with a record of, let's see, I got to scroll way down the list, with a 5-12. So almost opposite. They almost got as many losses as we thought they were going to get wins. Do you think we're just too excited? I mean, because I remember thinking back to this video and I was like, man, they got Allen Robinson. I was like, oh, that's such an upgrade to like OBJ and Robert Woods. I was like, and Van Jefferson was still there. I was like, I think they're gonna be fine, but it didn't.
I don't think it was overexcitement. I was just thinking we weren't thinking about the hangover after the Super Bowl situation. We weren't thinking about that, and this came into play big time. This is Hangover Part 2. They woke up and those monkeys and lions everywhere. Like it was all bad. It was just all bad for them.
I mean, it's so funny. We look back last year and whenever we did that video, we were talking about how, Aaron Donald kind of came out and was saying that he was contemplating retiring after the Super Bowl and everything like that. And we were like, dude, you can't retire after Super Bowl. It's like, Matthew Stafford only has like probably 2 more good years left. Like Cooper Kupp just came off his triple crown. It's like, man, you gotta, you can't just leave now. And then going into this season, we're like, Aaron Donald should have retired.
He should have retired. Tell you, I'll never forget that when we did that first game and he was sitting on the bench. He was sitting on the bench and he looked dejected. So I was like, I apologize. You should have not listened to us. You should have retired.
Yeah, for sure.
It's our fault. We'll take the blame. Los Angeles.
Yeah, we know he listens to us. So
exactly.
So next up we got the Bills. Bills finished 13-3 last season.
13-3.
So we weren't off by much.
We weren't too far off. We knew they were going to have a pretty good season. We knew that for sure.
Yeah, definitely did, and they did. Like even with that 13-4 season, it still felt like it was an underwhelming 13-4 just because of the fold in the playoffs. And even towards the final stretch of the season, obviously DeMar Hamlin's situation also kind of made you feel some type of way, and different things with that. Just kind of put a blur on that season. I still think they're a good team. I think they'll have a similar record going into this year. But they got to definitely step up their game, because last year we're thinking Super Bowl. And then this year we're thinking playoffs. Like I don't even know if I still think Super Bowl when it comes to the Bills right now, unless they prove it to me.
Not immediately. You don't think that. You know that the team has some good parts, but there's something in the back of the psyche, in the back of the consciousness, that when they get to a certain part of that playoff situation, it's like we all see it. We see the collapse. We see it coming, and it's just not good, But I mean, as far as our predictions, we were very, very close, and I'm proud with that one. That was a good one. That
was a good one. And then after the good always comes the bad, and not too bad, but we had higher expectations for the Chargers. The Chargers, we had winning 14-16 wins. And they went what, 10-7?
10-7. What
went wrong with the Chargers last year?
Oh, they got, was it from game 7 to like game 13-14, they had how many players get injured?
Yeah, I mean, I think they lost Herbert for a week or two, lost Keenan Allen for a while, lost Mike, and then it seemed like when they get Keenan Allen back, then they lost Mike Williams, and then when they lost Mike Williams, they'd lose Carter, and then they'd also lose Keenan Allen, and then they would lose a running back, and then they would lose this, and it was just turmoil.
Utter turmoil. It was not good.
I don't take back this prediction I mean, 14 wins is extreme, and we even said that when we did these predictions that we probably should have spread out these categories a little bit differently, and that's why this year I think it's going to be a lot better. But you know, with the Chargers, we actually had a comment on this previous tier list that we did for this upcoming season. Somebody's like, yo, Chargers win 10 games easy. And I replied back to him, and he was like, you know, y'all don't know what y'all talking about and like all this. And I said, look, man, I said, I'm not disagreeing. I think they have the talent to be a like 11 to 12 win team. I think that with everything in me. But it's the execution that worries me, because every year we see them at this spot where they can you know, fight for the division title with the Chiefs, which is hard to do nonetheless, but like at least be competitive in that. And every year we're disappointed and they just don't show up. 2 years ago, they needed to win against the Raiders and they tried to play for a tie. So you already know your mentality's bad, and end up not making it to the playoffs because the Raiders decided to go for the touchdown instead of kicking the field goal, which you know, or whatever the situation was. Good on the Raiders for that. You know, and then last year, you know, injuries and stuff gathered up. So it'll be interesting to see what they're gonna do this year. Do you have any like hot takes? Do you think they can jump above that? We had them below 10 wins. We had them 7 to 9 this year.
I don't know if they can. With, like you said, with the talent they have, the potential is great. But it's one of those situations where, you know, me being a AFC West baby, you know what I'm saying, being an AFC West baby, when I look back at it, the Chargers have always been touted as being this great team. No matter who's at the helm, Phillip Rivers, Herbert, doesn't matter. They've always been, oh, this is a great team, Super Bowl bound, playoff bound, and they say that every year for them. Every year they say that. And if there's something that falls apart every single year that does not allow them to take that step. And it's almost like they need to keep Herbert, and it sounds crazy, but Allen and all them, there might be time to go on and just start fresh. It might be time to just bring in some youth and to see what they can do with it, because them dudes do not stay healthy. They don't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, bringing in some more freshness at wide receiver room is definitely something. It's just because you know they're so talented. Keenan Allen, even though he's aging a little bit, he's such a talented wide receiver. Mike Williams is such a talented wide receiver. He's so deadly in the red zone. He's got great hands, great height.
I agree.
You know, any fade route, he's winning it 75% of the time. But we'll see what happens this year. But that was definitely one that we over adjusted. Going into the next one in the 10 to 13 win category, we had the Cincinnati Bengals, who we got right. They end up winning 12 games, lost 4. And I think this is going to be a trend for Cincinnati for a while. You know, until we can guarantee that Lamar and Baltimore is going to be able to stay healthy. And I don't care about the Browns, and you know, Steelers are kind of on that up, but I feel like Cincinnati's going to be winning, you know, at least 10 games, or at least the next, I don't know, what, 2, maybe 3 more years at least.
I will say this: if you're waiting for my prediction, which is already done, I've got to edit it. Just wait for it. It'll be out tomorrow.
Oh, you have him less? Oh Lord, here we go. Don's coming crazy. He's about to get every Cincinnati Bengals fan heated.
It's not even like it's like super less. It's just the tier below. That's it. I just have the tier below.
Yeah. Nate Brisky in the building. What's up, Nate? Said internet cut out, but what happened here? KC 7-9, Lions 1-3, Chicago over Detroit. Y'all are sleeping on the Lions. Last year we definitely were. That, you know, this was the first time we did this, and I think we got I think we wanted to make a statement more than we wanted to like be accurate. Like I don't know what we were thinking. That's why in the poll you see today, there's not a single voting that says, oh, y'all did great, because like we literally did. We literally did pretty rough. But we're gonna go through these real fast. Next up was the Saints. Saints we had between 10-13 win mark. They end up finishing off with 7 wins. You know, dealt with injuries and stuff like that. I will definitely say, you know, for one, I was overly excited for the Saints. You know, the thing with the Saints last year was like, it was the new era, you know, of Saints after Sean Payton, after Jameis, and it just felt like everything was going in the direction that we liked. You know, we grabbed guys that were from New Orleans. We grabbed the players that we actually wanted. We grabbed the wide receiver in the first round. We haven't done that in decades. You know, these were all things that we were just like, man, like this is great. Like, we can do it. We're in a pretty weak division. At that time, all we had to worry about was Tampa. It's like we should easily get 10 wins. I know some friends that lost like $5,000 because the odds for the Saints to win over 9.5 was like in favor of the better. And I had some friends that lose a couple thousand on that one, but that was an upsetting year, man. Definitely got too hyped over Jameis. Coming in this year with Derek Carr, I think is going to be interesting. This is about where I have them personally. I know Non has them around that 7 to 9, that 9 range, which is where everyone just about has them. What you thought the Saints last year?
I mean, even when we did this video last time, I put 10 because you were so adamant about them being, but I
convinced you for it. I convinced you for it.
I felt the 7 to 9 was the proper location, but after your plea, I was like, okay, we'll go 10. We'll go 10.
Well, the one thing I definitely won't ever do again is the one thing I will never do again is not take into fact how a new coach in a new system has an effect on the first year of a team. That's definitely one thing that I overcompensated for. I didn't even think about, and I was just like, oh, it's just going to roll, especially with the Saints because they were kind of running the similar offense plan. But it's not just about the plan. It's about the locker room. It's about the environment. It's about how practices are run. Being a head coach and being a assistant or a coordinator are two very different things. And we saw that last year. So hopefully this year will be a change. Tampa Bay Bucks, we had in that 10 to 13 win category. It was a bad year for the NFC South. They only had 8 wins. That was the last season for Mr. Tom Brady. And he went out with a losing record. Poor Tom. They always, I'm not even sad because the Tampa Bay fans were like joking so much about how they kicked, retired Drew Brees in the playoffs, which they did, but at least he went out with a winning season. You know what I mean? But the Bucks are going to drop off far from here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Then we have your Raiders.
They went 6-11.
Yeah. Tell me your thoughts on the Raiders, like with how we predicted this and just what things went wrong and how we went wrong.
I will say this. I think I'm not going to put it on us because we all know the turmoil that happened between the coaching staff and some of the players, some of the offensive leadership and some of the defensive leadership. There was a lot of issues with that team last year. There's issues with that team this year, but potentially with the players they had on the offensive side of the ball, they should have won at least 9 games, at least 9.
Yeah.
But as we've seen them, what they were doing to Carr, it makes sense why they lost the games. There was no trust. There was no trust on either side.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that at all. I mean, the fact that the way they changed the offense up so much at the in that season. I mean, you had the number 1 running back in the league. You definitely had flaws on defense and stuff like that, but they had lots of opportunities to win games. They were up in games with less than 2 minutes remaining, and then defense would let them down, or different things like that. Coaching situations that caused the outcome of those games to be different. We watched 3 games straight where they should have won all 3, and then they end up losing. The Cardinals one was the one that I remember the most because you and me, I think we were live for that game, and we got straight off because we were just like, we can't believe what just happened.
Because the Cardinals one and the Rams one, 2 games that they should have never lost. Yep. Like this show, it was weird because all of a sudden Graham was pulling players that's supposed to be on the field. They're not injured; they're just getting pulled. And then on offense, he stopped calling passing plays. It's like what? Wait! What are you doing? Why is this changing right now?
And you stopped allowing Carr, who loves drawing up audibles, reading the defense, and manipulating the play, especially in crunch time, and you stop them from doing it. Like that's his Carr's specialty. If there's one thing, Carr ain't a crazy gunslinger. He isn't like crazy athletic scrambling, but he is really good at reading the defense and calling out plays that are going to work. There are going to be long bombs. There are going to be little checkdowns, little 10, 15, and he'll throw a long one to Devontae every now, but he's going to get you up and down the field. And they were just like, nah, we good, fam. Eagles is one that we got wrong, but not by much. We said 10 to 13 wins. We did say they were going to win the division that year, and that they did. They end up finishing 14-3. Eagles had a phenomenal year. That is probably my favorite prediction that we had because a lot of people was like, "There's no way Eagles are getting there. There ain't no way they're winning the division." And we were like, "Yeah, you can stick a."
Oh my god! So many people was talking trash on that one. We were like, "Oh, it's going to be Philly. Philly's winning that division. Philly might even go Super Bowl." We was like, "Jalen Hurts, he's there now," and nobody believed us. I'm happy about that one.
I am definitely am too, and I expect many more years to come. That division is getting a little bit tougher though with the Giants, and you know the Cowboys are always a team that can jump ahead of them if they just limit mistakes. But we got to see that from Dak. But I think the Eagles will take it again this year. But I think it will be a fun competition between them and Dallas. I mean, we'll see how that plays out. Baltimore Ravens, we had at the 10-13 spot. They ended up winning
10-7.
They went 10-7. So we were right there. And honestly, I think they would have been even closer to that 13 if Lamar didn't get hurt. So another good prediction there. I expect him to be right around the same range. You know, I could see him possibly taking the Bengals on, especially if Joe has to miss time. He did appear to practice today, so we'll see how that plays out, if he's actually will play week 1 or when he will play. But Lamar healthy now with Zay Flowers, who I have really high expectations to, and then veteran leadership with Odell Beckham. Running backs can stay healthy and Lamar can stay healthy. I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to win a lot of games this year.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think with health, I think they actually win that division.
Yeah, I agree. Dallas Cowboys, not too far off again.
12-5.
They went 12-5. Cooper Rush won 4 of those for him. shout out, Mr. Rush.
Yeah,
and
he
Dak
won 5.
I was saying,
kept him in there.
And what, Dak lost 4 of them? And by saying Dak lost 4 of them, I mean Dak lost 4 of them. That's the problem with Dak. It's not that the Dallas Cowboys lose, it's that Dak loses the game for the Cowboys. And that's why guys like Josiah, who I'm not sure if he's in here today, but is in our fantasy league, he is a diehard Cowboys fan. But even he says Dak has got to go or something has got to change. And I think anyone that doesn't believe that is just delusional. Not saying Dak's not talented, because he is extremely talented, but he definitely is the reason they lose, and not always the reason that they win. That is definitely a big difference. I wouldn't say it's as bad
last season. How you miss so many games last season and still have the most interceptions? Like, what? Something's not adding up.
And
miss hella games.
and my comment also rolls into the next team, is that I don't want to say Dak is quite the Tannehill type of quarterback, but Tannehill's the same thing. Tannehill doesn't win them games, but he loses them games. Last year at Tennessee Titans, we predicted to be around that 10-13 round. They finished off 7-10, and again, back-to-back years just riddled with injuries. I mean, Titans just can't catch a break there. They've been one of the most injured teams over the last ever since the Panorama years. They have been one of the most injury teams over the last 3 to 4 years, however long it's been now. Unfortunately for them, it's just going to get rougher from here. They still haven't made any big changes at quarterback. They've tried bringing in guys in, and Tannehill has just definitively beat them out of their position. I mean, Malik Willis came in, didn't work out. They tried him at the end of the season, really didn't look good. Will they give him time to try and develop? Like, I don't know. I don't think they can, because they only got a couple years left with Derrick Henry. So they don't want to just throw in a rookie and be like, oh yeah, it is what it is, and let him develop. They're going to keep running with Ryan. I still don't understand why they didn't go out and try to grab a solidified veteran, even if it's not someone that's great, even if it's just like someone like Jimmy G. Like, they should have put in bags towards Jimmy G to get him over there, or any of these quarterbacks. I mean, you could have taken money even at Jameis, and I feel like it would have been an upgrade. And that's not, as much as I love Jameis, realistically, it's not saying a lot.
Yeah.
So we were a little off on that one. Next one was the Minnesota Vikings. We did predict the Vikings would win that division, and that they did. Vikings finished off with a 13-4 record. Right at the top. We had them at the bottom, but they were at the top. They had a good season. Justin Jefferson just proved why he's trying to be within the top 5 of some of the best receivers we ever seen. He has a long way to go. I'm not one of those guys, and I don't like those type of people that try to take these wide receiver, quarterback, whatever position it is, and be like, oh, he's the best that's ever done. He's top 5. He's played 3 years? Please calm down. All right. Longevity is a big factor in being named up there with the greats. Okay. He's not even like top 20 yet. He might have some of the best seasons in, the last year and the year before, but he's not top 20 yet. Go ahead.
I need people to understand that when they talk about the best ever, especially when it comes to these skill positions, remember what the difference between the two generations are. in this generation, it's a pass-heavy football league. In the 80s, 90s, it was a run-heavy. So if you have receivers who have outstanding records in the 80s and 90s, that's because they were really that damn good.
Yes.
Not because the team just threw all the time. That still wasn't the game plan.
Yeah.
Still wasn't the game plan. What's up, Cheesehead?
What up, Cheese? And that's no slight on JJ either. On JJ either.
Not at all.
Because he's very efficient. Like, the dude doesn't drop balls, man. He's the best. He's the best off the blocks. He acrobatic in his catches and stuff like that. So it's no hate towards him. It's just simmer down before we put it there. Vikings, I still think they're gonna have a run in for the top of the division, but I think it will be a closer matchup between them and the Lions. I still think they both get probably around 10 wins, and whoever gets that 11 is probably the one that's gonna stretch it out and take that division. I think Green Bay is no longer that big factor, at least not this year, but they will inevitably fight their way back. But we'll see how time passes. So I like that Minnesota pick. That was another good one that we had.
Yeah.
Then we had the Patriots. The Patriots finished off with an 8-9 record.
8-9. So only off by two. Only off by two.
Only off by 2, and we even said that we thought they were more 7-9. We just didn't see Belichick losing that many. We just felt like Belichick felt the pressure that he needed to win, and that he was going to get at least 10. What do you think about the Patriots? Do you think they're falling down? Do you think we won't see that dominance again for a while?
I mean, I think it's gonna be a while. They'll probably have just like this past season, from the 6 to 8, maybe even possibly hit the 9 or 10 mark, but they won't be super dominant for a while. Yeah. They got to get their quarterback situations situated.
I agree. I mean, Mac Jones is still only on what? He's coming into his third year.
I think it's his third year.
Yeah, he's coming into his third year, so he still has time. I know I talk so bad about him and stuff like that, I'm honest with what I say, but they shouldn't be ready to jump the gun with him either. But if something comes up on the market and it just makes sense, it's like, I don't know why you don't, and just make it a battle for the starting position. If he wins it, he wins it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I think they need to put a little bit of pressure on Mac Jones instead of just telling him he's the one. You know what I mean? Because there was definitely moments when Zappe came in when he was hurt that Zappe had moments that he looked better. And Zappe is definitely not a better quarterback, but he performed better under the limelights.
I believe they cut Zappe.
Oh, they did? They might have. I know he looked horrible in preseason.
Yeah, I think they cut him, to be honest with you. I'm going to have to look it up, but I think they did.
Next up, we have our Green Bay Packers. We predicted a 7-9 win season, and the Packers finished off with 8 wins, so we were right there. It was Aaron Rodgers last year. We could just tell that there was some frustration in that organization, a lot of young guys, but they did find hope in some of these young wide receivers with Dobbs and Christian Watson. And as Cheese had just said, I did see that earlier today, that the Packers have made a trade offer to go and grab Jonathan Taylor. And Cheese had said him with Jones would be fired, and I think so too. That was definitely the underdog. Like, no one thought that the Packers would even go after him, but I think it's a good grab. But if you can get 2 solidified running backs, AJ Dillon's good, but I don't think AJ Dillon is like elite. If you go and get Aaron Jones, who's a little age, and Jonathan Taylor, that's coming into his couple of prime years here, and then be a run heavy offense while you're allowing Jordan Love to continue to kind of develop and see what he has, not put him in high pressure situations, I think it's the best for the Packers, and I think it's the best for Jordan Love to see where y'all go from here. Do y'all keep Love? Do y'all move on from him? I think that'd be a great move. But we were right on the Packers. How'd you feel about that Packers guess?
I mean, I felt I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd have felt any lower. You know what I'm saying? Just because of how that team just was kind of slowly falling apart. So, but I mean, as far as our guess, kudos to us.
Look, so we got a couple of right. We just didn't get the big guesses right.
Yeah.
Or anything in the bottom and the top. That's where we kind of really messed up. But these 4 to 13s, we kind of on point here. Next up was the Cardinals. Cardinals, we predicted 7-9, and the Cardinals just completely fell off. I don't think anyone could have expected that they would have fell off that bad last year.
I mean, they lost 7 games in a row to end the season, so.
Yeah. I mean, all the rumors with Kyler Murray came out, leading up to that season about him not reading the playbook. They put it in his contract, all that yada yada yada, all that drama that went down. Yeah. Hopkins was hurt a good bit. That definitely didn't help, but they did sign Hollywood Brown. They still had James Conner, and they actually had some decent backups too. That I think a couple of them are still available, which I don't understand why. One of them was with the Saints for a little bit, and we cut him. But regardless of all that, I mean, I don't think anyone saw only 4 wins for the Cardinals. Like, especially with LA being as bad as they were too, I didn't think there was a way for them to get under 7 wins.
I mean, with the quality of a player, as you say, like as far as the quarterback position, I mean, even though we had our jokes and we talked about him during some games, but 4, I mean, to me, 7 made sense. 7 made sense, but not 4. And then it's going to be that or worse this season, this upcoming season, basically.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they've already said they're joining the Caleb Williams. It's not a lottery like the NBA, but they're playing to lose. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. They got a new head coach, which is also an interesting strategy for a new head coach to come in and say we're gonna lose. So I just know if I'm a young player, I am wanting to do anything I can to get the hell out of Arizona. Get out of Arizona. Chia said, and he's a former Badger, Wisconsin Badger, right? I didn't know he played for Wisconsin. Yeah. That's cool. Nate said, can we please reminisce the fact that Aaron Rodgers' last throw was an interception, lost to the Lions, who took away their playoffs? I mean, we can reminisce on that, but I mean, I don't even like talking about Aaron Rodgers having an interception because he is the most, he has the best touchdown to interception ratio of anyone in the NFL, I believe, like in all of history. So but that definitely is funny, Nate. I'm sure y'all were laughing it up down there in Detroit. After that, the Broncos, we gave them 7-9 wins. They end up finishing with 5-12, and what a disappointing year! Not just for the Broncos, but really your whole division was just a very disappointing year. Other than really
Cluster.
KC. Yeah, everybody thought that every single team could make it that year, and end up just being one of them.
And what's funny is I think out of most fans of that division, I was like, okay, maybe 3, not 4. I said maybe 3, but I didn't think the Broncos are going to make it. I didn't think that, not at all, not one bit.
Yeah. I think you had them at 4-6, and I said I think 7-9, and I think I took over that one from you, but that was definitely the case. And then probably the other like really really big miss was KC. We were definitely on that train, and again just.
We were thinking the Tyreek Hill thing.
Yeah, we can selfishly admit that, Patrick Mahomes proved who he is, and I'm glad he did because I look at him in a different light. Never thought he was bad. I never thought he used his wide receivers and weapons as a crutch, but I just didn't know how he would look without having his number one target being Tyreek Hill, and how the whole team was going to adjust as a whole, especially now with a division that was going to be fairly competitive because you really weren't worried about too many other teams in prior years. So KC proved us wrong all the way with having them 7-9. They ended up finishing off with the best record 14. In the NFL at 14-3. Yeah. And won a Super Bowl. So big ups to the Chiefs. How do you think the Chiefs are going to do this year? I know we talked about it in our other predictions. We still had them winning a good bit, but they're again without a number one wide receiver. Doesn't matter. I don't think it matters.
They do have a number one receiver. He just happened to be a tight end. That's just really what it is. So I think they're still going to fare well. I mean, the nucleus of what's important about that team is still together. So long as that nucleus is there, I think they'll be okay. There is still some holdout issues on the defensive side of the ball that may come into play, but I don't know, because they just made some trades with the Raiders to actually shore up the defensive side because of the holdouts. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how it will fare in the beginning part of the season.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, other than their Chris Jones. Other than Chris Jones still holding out, and he's going to miss at least the first 4 games. He said he doesn't care how much he gets fined. He's like, I got enough money. I ain't worried. Even without that, their defense looked rough in the beginning, but in the last stretches of the season, they looked really good. Those younger players finally developed. And a team that we think about all the, offensive firepower, their defense was able to build into something that was solid. That helped. They don't have to be great. They got to be slightly above average because the offense will do the job. It will also be interesting to see how they work without Bieniemy, because we've already seen that the Commanders have definitely had an upgrade just through preseason. Yes. I know it's preseason, but they've had an upgrade now that Bieniemy's over there. I think Andy Reid was still in the main control of the Kansas City Chiefs offense, but Bieniemy definitely had his hand in the pot and definitely was a part of discussion of the playbook. So it'll be interesting to see how things change. I still think they dominate the division, though.
I still think they do well in the division, and I know it's off topic, but I think Washington's going to have a pretty interesting season offensively. I'm curious to see where they go. And then last thing is, we talked about the Patriots and Mac Jones, and very interesting. If you're a Patriots fan, right now you guys do not have a backup quarterback.
Oh, really? Oh, they're just going to go grab somebody, I'm sure then.
Yeah.
Interesting. San Francisco is the next up. We had them at 7-9, and they went 13-4, and I could have seen them getting 10 wins. I think we were on the fence about them getting around 10 wins, but I didn't see 13. And then especially with the fact that Jimmy G getting hurt, Trey Lance getting hurt, and I believe when we made this prediction, Trey Lance had already gotten hurt or something like that. There was definitely a weird situation when we were discussing this.
Brock Purdy wasn't in the picture yet. He wasn't in the picture really yet.
Yeah, but I mean, no one knew who he was. I still couldn't pick his face out in the crowd. But they end up getting 13 wins. They went 13-4, and they did so with just extremely well coaching and just a all-around solid team, a great defense, good weapons at wide receiver. They went and grabbed Christian McCaffrey. They had injuries at running back. It felt like it didn't matter who got injured on that team. They'd have someone that could come in and do the job for them, or they had another player that was willing to come over there almost for the cheap to come and handle down the job like CMC in that instance. And finish up strong, man. San Francisco just shows that they're just not someone to be reckoned with. They don't care how they win games. They're not going to do it all flashy. It's not going to be sexy, but they're going to go ahead and put W's on their stat sheets.
Now with this one, I give us a break because, like you said, Garoppolo. We knew what the situation with Garoppolo was, injuries, and not sure of him even playing really. Then Lance got injured right at that moment. And as far as there was a question mark at the position, we were giving them 7 wins based off of their defense. We weren't even giving them wins based off their offense because we knew that there technically wasn't a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. I think we even said because of the injuries with their running backs too, that we were like, Debo can only do so much, and then Ayuk kind of sprang out of nowhere. CMC came, did his thing. Elijah Mitchell, when he was healthy, didn't matter if he was only healthy for 3 games. He was an instant impact in all those games. Good on San Fran.
And Mr. Relevant showed up. So
big facts.
Baby Brady showed up.
The Colts was one that we got off. They end up finishing with a 4-12 record. The Colts, we thought Matt Ryan had a little bit more juice left in him, and we also thought Jonathan Taylor was going to be able to be the same factor that he was in the year prior, where they were at least competitive with Tennessee for that division. And once again, Indianapolis never building up their offensive line, regardless of who's back there, even if it's Old Man Ryan or Old Man Rivers. And then with their running back having troubles, they just were not able to get a single thing done. It was just a very uncomfortable season for the Colts.
Very much so. I mean, I think it might continue still with this season because of just like I've been saying since we started this channel. I do not like Irsay. I think Irsay is the issue. I think he's a problem, and there's something off about him. I do not like him. And the things he's said about Taylor just to me proves what I feel.
Oh yeah, it definitely doesn't disprove it. Definitely doesn't do that. After that, we had the Browns. 7-9 wins. The Browns finished off with 7.
7-10. Yeah,
7-10. So we were on point there. And to be honest, I think if we said this before, if they kept Brissett, they might have been closer to that 9. I don't think they jump above the 9, but I think they would have been closer to it. Deshaun Watson looked just out of place. Like, he looked uncomfortable. It looked like he hadn't played football in 2 years. And guess what?
He definitely wasn't prepared.
He had it. So I think they'll be about the same this year, but I think they'll look better. I think they'll look better is kind of what I think. You think they're going to look worse?
I just smile. Well, I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I'm just smiling because I know that my video, not people, like I said, the Pittsburgh one and the Browns one, I definitely were upset about. So I haven't looked at any. I haven't even looked at any comments for the Ravens one, but yeah, the Bengals one people probably mad about too. But we'll see.
We'll see. Miami, we had them at 7-9. We had our concerns about Tua. We didn't think Tyreek was going to make a huge difference. And I won't say we were hugely off, but we were definitely off as far down as what they were. They did finish off with a 9-8 record, so we were off by just 2 wins. I think Tua proved us definitely wrong. They had moments where we were like, yeah, he can't get the ball there in certain instances, you know, and then also unfortunately his injuries, concussions, things like that, all those things hopefully will be fixed. But him and Tyreek and Waddle, they had a really great connection between the three of them, better than what I would have expected. I think Tua still has a lot of developing to do as far as his accuracy goes, his strength throwing the ball downfield, you know, or just even designing the playbook to suit Tua a little bit more instead of trying to suit the wide receivers will help them make a bigger jump. The problem with them going in even to this year is that he did some type of jiu-jitsu training to help with learning how to fall properly. But in the preseason game, we saw him dive on a football that was missnapped, and he dove, and same exact thing. He slammed his head onto the ground again. It's like the training just goes out the window, and it's not something that can be an easy fix. And a lot of people, you know, we're dogging him. It's like, you don't understand. Whenever you're in the moment of playing a game, it's not you don't have instincts to react that way. You can do that during training, but you don't have instincts because you can't think when you're out there. It's just like with anything, whether it's working out, whenever it's shooting a basketball, when you're doing shoot around, you can think about your whole form, but when you're in the game, that goes to pieces. It's just reaction. It's what's natural.
Also, too, I mean, if you're going to train something, you have to think of training to apply as well. If he's not trying to actually apply the thought, and even if you go into a practice scenario where you practice something similar to what can happen to cause you to get the concussion, to put into play what you're learning, then you're not going to be able to do that. It's like practicing football. You have to practice the play. You do a walkthrough. They literally walk the play, and then they go through and they speed it up. Then they put pads on. Then there's layers to practice.
There's layers.
You know.
It's just like, I love the quote by, I think it was Mike Tomlin the other day. They asked him about playing starters during preseason. He goes, well, it's hard to box without sparring. You got to do it. It might be dangerous, but you have to do it. Like, you got to get physically, mentally prepared. But as far as our prediction goes, they got 9 wins. So, you know, I think we were pretty accurate with it. They definitely surprised us at some points. I just think we didn't think they could drop below 7 wins, but I didn't think they were going to get close to 10. And they might have gotten over 10 if Tua would have been healthy.
Very true. I agree 100% with that one.
Going into the 4-6 win category, we had the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers end up finishing 7-10, even though they had some of the craziest chaos going on. I mean, just as much as what the Saints did. I mean, they had PJ Walker back there at quarterback. They had Baker Mayfield back there at quarterback. They had I'm forgetting his name now. He's with San Francisco. Played for the Jets. Sam Darnold back there at quarterback.
That's right.
They had CMC injured basically the whole entire season. But the way that they won is that their defense is just solid. They're great at the run. I think he was the rookie last year in J.C. Horn, the Joe Horn's son. I love Joe Horn. One of my all-time favorite New Orleans Saints players. His son, I hated that he went to Carolina. Played phenomenal. And that's how they won games. And they just, they were able to get a 7-10 record because of their defense. What do you think about our guess there? I agree with you, man.
I mean, I think our guess was still solid. And like I said, they really only won 1 game more than what we were assuming. So I think we're still, even though like we're off 1 or 2 games, the fact that we still have them in that category, and they're in that category, I'm good with it,
Facts. Next up, that's going to lead us into the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders went 8 for 8. I'm sorry, 8-1. So a couple games off on this one. I think we had Washington like really being like close to that 5-win team. And they definitely proved us wrong in certain aspects, man. I mean, their quarterback in Carson Wentz, obviously not the greatest, but he definitely had some good games. And then rookie wide receiver Dotson came out and played phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, they were able to work in Gibson. They were able to work in Brian Robinson once he finally got healthy, you know, near the end of the season. And they were able to play some competitive games, mainly due to, you know, a pretty strong defense and, you know, just some, I wouldn't say great offense, but just some cheeky offense. It was like they kind of catch you off guard. Out of nowhere, it's like, oh, wait, they just scored 2 touchdowns straight. They hadn't moved up the field once in the last two quarters. now they're back-to-back touchdowns. That's kind of how it felt with them.
And also, too, you know, when you look at from the fantasy aspect, their defense was actually putting in work last season. they were putting in work, and that's how they were winning some of those games. So, you know, good on them. I hope they continue, and I think with the young quarterback they have in position 2, I hope that they do the smart decision.
Ron Rivera has already came out and said that he took on, and it looks bad towards Ron, but Ron Rivera has always been just a very honest coach. Sometimes it backfires on him, but I do appreciate his honesty. He goes, I wish I would have looked at this kid more. He said, I had him on the team and I didn't even blink an eye at him. I let him work with the assistant coaches and stuff like that. Didn't even worry about him. He's like, I made a mistake with this. And, you know, so we'll see this year. I mean, Washington fans are hyped. Washington fans are hyped this year. Like they were probably the most comments we got on our reviews, they were coming at our neck saying like, no, you don't understand what you're saying. And I was honest. I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't. I'm not saying I do. Maybe I don't. I want them to prove me wrong. We'll see. I still think they have a tough division. I still think, you know, 9 wins is their cap off. But we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. After that was the Giants. We had winning 4-6. And Danny Dimes went out and played like it was a contract year, and he got his contract this year.
Man,
they finished off 9-7-1. The Giants, Danny was getting bullied. He probably was running like 5 or 6 miles a game. Not even upfield, just behind in the pocket, trying to find somebody open. He was trying to do it all. And then healthy Saquon, you know, also, we hadn't seen that in a couple years, and it looked damn good.
Yeah, it definitely did. It looked damn good. I agree, 100%. I mean, just like what you said about Danny is so true. We talked down on him, but the fact that he just never gave up on plays and was really doing everything, sometimes even rushing for the touchdown himself, like I respect nothing but respect. Yes. Like that's you had not single-handedly, but that 9 is you're the big reason that 9 was there. You're a major reason.
I mean, when you're talking about the quarterback position, you have such a huge role on that team about how they feel about every single game and every single drive. Your motivation or mentality in every given situation translate to every single player. So when they see you not giving up, they aren't going to give up either. I mean, there's so many times we saw guys like Shepard, you know, run his route, wasn't there, run back this way, run back that way, come back across this way. They like everybody started doing that because it was just doing what you can do to win. Do I think Danny Dimes deserved that contract that he got? No, I think he got overpaid a little bit. Do I think he's a multi-talented, like top tier quarterback? No, I do not. But I'll tell you what, this dude has got heart, got gut. If he plays like that, he's going to continue to play in this league, and hopefully players will want to come with him, and the Giants can try to battle in this division that was once the weakest and now turning into one of the toughest.
Yeah, and I think over time with the coaching staff and Danny and with the healthy running game, we can see them be better every year. We can see them be better. Like even to the point where we can almost see Dallas being in 4th place after everybody else. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm not gonna disagree. I'm not gonna agree. I'm just gonna leave it quiet. Next up, Chicago Bears. We had 4-6 wins, and the Bears ended up finishing 3-14. I'm very disappointed in that record. You know, a lot of people actually had the Bears winning like 7-9 games last year.
7-9.
And we thought that we were told we were wrong. We thought that was insane. I think this year they're possibly going to be a 7-9, 7-9 win team. But last year I did not see it. There still needs some developmental issues with Justin Fields. They still need more weapons for him. He's going to have the same trouble that Baltimore is having of getting receivers to come there because they want to be cheap on him. If you want to go and get him a number 1 wide receiver and see how he actually can throw the ball and stuff like that, you need to go out there and just go spend the big money and just not allow a top wide receiver to walk into your office without a contract. That is the only way. That's the things that the Ravens messed up with, because they would have guys come in and then let them walk out. It's the same thing that Chicago is doing. They grabbed DJ Moore. Who cares? He's not a bad wide receiver, but he's not the receiver that I would like to see with Justin Fields. I want a guy that has big hands, has a big catch radius, is someone that can, make semi bad throws catchable. He needs that, and I think until they get that, they're gonna have some trouble. Nate says, how are they supposed to be that good? They have no O-line, and Detroit had the best O-line there is. I'm so confused how people thought Chicago was 7-9 or at least higher than the Lions. Nate, I don't know either. That was the thing that was the issue that we had last year with it as well. Now, we obviously didn't have a whole lot of trust in Detroit Lions either, which we'll talk a little bit about that soon. But yeah, we didn't see it either. We didn't see them being a team that was like on the come up yet. This year, I think, is a year of hope for them. But they have definitely got to prove something, because if they don't, it's going to be, back to the drawing board, and then it's just going to be an endless cycle. They got to win at least 7 to 8 games this year. They just have to. They have to. Now, down to the part where we made some mistakes, the 1 and 3 category. Let's start with the Steelers. Steelers, no Ben Roethlisberger. I don't remember why we gave them this low of 1. I almost felt like we had changed it, or because I remember saying that I don't know if Mike Tomlin, after never having a losing record, would have a just horrible season. But we end up going with 1 to 3 here. They had a new quarterback. Defense wasn't what it has been in previous years, but it did prove to get better last year. And then this year, they're looking like, they have a good defense as well. I think we were just completely off on this one, man. I mean, this one had a lot to do with the issue at the quarterback position. They had constant quarterback battle between Trubisky and Pickens. That's right. And they both were looking bad.
They were looking terrible. So yes. I think we were validated in our choices. Now, did we know that Pickens in the last 6 games of the season was going to have one of the highest offensive efficiencies? No, we didn't know that, because he looked like trash. So, I mean, we'll take the flack on this one, but at the same time, you as a fan, if you're a fan of Pittsburgh, you have to admit that those 2 players last year, before the season started, did not look like a 9-win team. They did not.
No. I think we definitely were being a little bit of a bully with this 1 to 3. Like I said, I think we slept on the wrong side of the bed that night before we did this reaction. But I definitely wouldn't have comfortably put them in a 7 to 9 win season. I just wouldn't have. But like realistically, I think maybe somewhere 7 at the highest, 6 at the lowest, something like that. But to have 9 wins with a rookie quarterback just shows the dominance of Mike Tomlin. We'll see what ends up happening if Najee Harris can continue to stay healthy. I think Pickens is going to continue to be a great wide receiver. I want to see how that dynamic between both them and DeJounte Johnson is going to turn out. Do I say that they have hope to go and steal this division? I think they're going to have a hard time to beat out Bengals and Ravens, but they aren't looking like they're going anywhere soon, and I hope not, man, because I love Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is probably one of my favorite coaches in the league right now.
I know that, like I said, if you haven't already, go and watch our prediction videos. The prediction for this team is up, and the comments are very interesting. Somebody gave me a dissertation on why I was incorrect, but I think
you did get a dissertation, didn't you?
I think even with this team and how they are progressing, this might actually be the first time he's just under the 500 mark. This might be. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a potential.
Yeah. If it's not, it's going to be just above it. It might just be just above it, just how it was last year.
Yeah.
Next up, we have our Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions last year obviously shocked us. I mean, they went 9-8, and now they're a team. I didn't get to do the prediction on them. I'm not sure if Non got to his Detroit prediction, but they're a team that I'm very highly of this year. Even last year, whenever we did this, I do remember talking and expressing how much I love their head coach. He played with the Saints. I believe he coached with the Saints as well. Love his mentality and how he goes into things. I just couldn't stand Jared Goff. Still can't. Still not a big fan of Goff. But as far as their offensive line goes, with what Nate says, he played really well. Defense, definitely had a lot of questions, especially in the beginning. Their offense led them to a lot of wins, but like Amon St. Brown, phenomenal. They're starting to develop more weapons, more confidence as a team out there. They have a nice culture going on, and we were definitely off on this one. Tell me what you were about to say.
No, I was gonna say this one we were actually a little bit divided on. I do remember this because I was saying that I actually liked Goff, and then everybody in the chat was like, Goff is trash. I was like, I was like, even though he didn't play well in Los Angeles, I watched him in college and I thought he had potential, like actually good potential. And as I've said so many times, just because somebody plays with one team and they're not good when they play with that team doesn't mean they weren't good. Sometimes the situation as a whole is not good, and it was not good for them. That could be a mentality thing. People forget this is their job. So in your job, you can have an issue where it's like, okay, I'm just mentally just not there because of different factors. And I always felt that was kind of a thing with him. And even when he came here, I wasn't sure because Detroit has a stigma about them, and it just does. Detroit's been stinky. They've been very stinky for a very long time.
You literally, Detroit, and no offense to your team, Brisky is not being that. It's just pointing out the facts. I mean, you had Matthew Stafford and Megatron, and how much were y'all able to do with it? Y'all literally forced probably the greatest running back, in my opinion, out of the highlights that I watched, because I've obviously never watched them live. Barry Sanders is one of my favorite running backs that I've ever watched. I mean, he's up there, I'd have to throw him in top 3 if you have him outside top 3. I mean, I know you got like Walter Payton and the old Cowboys running back, and a couple different guys like that. But Emmitt Smith. But they forced him into an early retirement because the team was just stinky. So,
but they also they wouldn't trade him. They wouldn't allow him to play on the team. They wouldn't give up his rights to his information. So
So with Detroit Lions, man, I hope they continue to build on this culture that they're having. They're kind of starting to change the narrative that they have built around them, and it's in a perfect timing to be able to do it now with Rodgers out of the division. Vikings are always a team that you just don't know what you're going to get out of them. This is a chance for the Lions to get into the playoffs. I mean, how long has it been since the Lions have been to the playoffs? I think they have the longest playoff drought in NFL history, or at least in current right now. They have the longest drought. So we'll see how things play off. We were definitely off on that one. Next up was the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons, we had 1-3. Non gave this prediction, I believe, because I always am happy to put the Falcons in 1-3. I cannot stand them dirty birds. But they did finish off with a record of 7-10, and most of it coming by a great run game. They had a triple-headed monster, and they worked it to the best of their abilities. They have a really good, one really good outside corner. Their defense wasn't horrible. They still have a lot of questions at quarterback, and the division last year was weak, and they took advantage of it and were able to get 7-10. Now looking to be the top dogs in the division. I don't think it'll happen this year because I'm a Saints fan, but I think it'll either be them or the Panthers within the next 3 years if the Saints don't start now. What's your thoughts on that, on our guests last year?
Also, just for the drought situation as far as the NFL playoffs, Detroit is in 3rd with 6 years. Denver is at 7, and the Jets are at 12. But as far as like the Falcons, I know we talked about it. I like what they have. I think they're actually going to be pretty good this year. I don't know how good, but I think they're going to be pretty good. I like the team. I like the players. Like the quarterback situation, the running back situation is good. They added some pretty good pieces in the wide receiver room. It's just I just don't know what their ceiling is. That's what I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I think Ritter's going to have a better second year. I definitely think, especially with Bijan being there. And, Kyle Pitts is going to continue to mature as much as I trash talk him. Drake London is a great wide receiver out of USC. I think he'll continue to get better. So, I mean, they are a team that isn't like you're like, oh, they're going to be phenomenal in 5 years, but they have all the pieces. If they continue moving it, they remind me a lot of how I felt about the Jets a couple years ago, even how I felt about the Jets last year. I feel like they're just a couple players away. They've been developing this scheme over at the Falcons for the last 3 to 4 years, as they knew they were getting rid of Matt Ryan, of wanting to run this style offense, being a run heavy offense. They've all their O-line people are guys that are good at blocking during the run. This is what they want to do, and they're just going full swing. Even though we're in a era of football where it's pass heavy, they want to go against the grain and play their style, and we'll see how that stuff pays out.
I think it'll still work, and I think like you said, it's been developed for a long time. It's been developed since their last playoff run in 2018. This is a 5-year plan. This has been a 5-year plan.
This has been a 5-year plan.
Yeah,
exactly. New York Jets finished off 7-10. We had them at 1-3. I really am still not mad at this prediction. I definitely didn't expect Garrett Wilson to be as good as what he was, and I definitely didn't expect Breece Hall to do as good as what he did. But the thing that I missed out on the most was how well that defense actually performed. They had a lot of takeaways last year, and that helped to a lot of winning games. I mean, they went around the mill with quarterbacks. You had Kevin White starting. You had the guy that had the dog in him. I don't even know his name. That's how he became from the most Zach Wilson to now kind of irrelevant at this point in time. But when we did do this prediction, I think we were on opposite sides of it, but I did say I thought the Jets would be good within the next 3 years. And now that they got Aaron Rodgers, I think they're going to be good this year. Top of division, I don't know. We'll see. But I did think they had the right pieces.
Yeah, no one expected them to have that. Their offensive rookie will be some of their rookies will be outstanding to have the offensive rookie of the year. No one expected them to have the defensive rookie of the year. Nobody expected that. So it was one of those things where the team, the administration, and the coach of this team made the right moves to not be a 1-3 team. If they don't make the right moves last season, one, they don't have the season they did. They don't win 7 games, but also 2, they don't get Aaron Rodgers. So it's a progression, and I'm glad it happened, because like we just said, the Jets have the longest drought in playoffs. That may end this season. Yeah,
very well could be. And then just touch on this for another second too, and that's another reason why, I know we did our podcast 2 weeks ago where we talked about head coaches that are on the hot seat, and Robert Saleh being one of them, because he spent so much money to go and get Rodgers and make so many moves and had to get away a couple pieces. But I think Sal's the mastermind that has made this happen. How many head coaches have they gone through that has just been the same? How many years you said since they made the playoffs? So obviously no head coach has 12. So obviously no head coach in the last minus Salah's last 12 years has done anything that made them feel like they could be competent and competitive. So the fact that Salah's on the hot seat according to a bunch of analysts and stuff like that, I think is crazy. Even if it's a complete bust, then maybe. But if they don't make playoffs, I can't see you saying that he's on the hot seat. But that's beside the point. Next up is the Seattle Seahawks again. All these guys are realistically teams that we were just kind of being a little mean to. There definitely was 3 of them that I thought should have been here. The Seahawks was actually one of those 3. And the reason for it is because we're bringing in either Geno Smith or Drew Lock. Both guys that have Drew Lock, who's sat in the second string position for Denver for quite some time, would have one great game and then started dancing to some Waka Flocka song and rapping, and then everybody thought he was super cool. And then you had Geno Smith. I know. And then you got Geno Smith, the old head that just never got to show his true potential, and we just all thought it was past his time to be able to prove it. And we thought Seattle was going to have a tough time, especially playing in the division where we thought the Rams were going to be really good, where we thought the Cardinals were going to be pretty good, and where we thought the Niners were going to be very good. We thought Seattle was going to be the team out that was going to have a really tough time. We only thought they were going to win maybe one game in that division all year, and they surely proved us wrong. They finished off the season with a... I'm trying to find it.
The record was 9-8.
They finished off the season with a 9-8 record. Geno Smith looked like the best he's looked since college. And there is a new sense of hope over there in Seattle. They got a good run game. They built back on their defense. They grabbed some old defenders that used to play for them. They're trying to stack back, getting back into that reminiscent days. What do we think about Seattle? Where did we go wrong with this pick?
I think so. There's two things. One, it was rumored that Drew Lock was a starting QB. So because of that, that's where we were like, okay, they're definitely losing 35 games. It's like
35. Yeah, true. Because he was winning the battle, because we did this before any preseason game. We did this during training camp, and at that point, Drew Lock was the starter. You're right. I forgot about that.
He was announced the starter. But like you said, the one thing about Geno that I'm so freaking happy that has happened. Yes. Geno Smith for his first year with the Jets, completion percentage was at 55%. He threw for over 3,000 yards. He had 12 TDs but 21 interceptions. So, and that's his first year. His second year he had 2,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. And from that point, 2014 to now, well, technically to the first year with the Seahawks, he just didn't get an opportunity to really shine. He didn't get no real opportunities. He has stats, but when you look at his numbers, you can tell the opportunities were not what they should have been to see if he was really good. It's one of those things where we've talked about where coaches and owners, once a player gets to a certain situation and people believe, oh, they're past their prime, that's not true for everybody else.
Or in his situation with his first 2 years, just throw him into the reins and be like, oh, go ahead and just go play, because you were great in college. Now you're going to be great in the pros. It doesn't translate. Certain players need time. I know how it feels to be a fan of a team where you're like, what's the point? Like, it's the same thing with Bryce Young. You go draft Bryce Young this year, and the thing is, it does make sense to start him, and I understand why the fans want to go see it. You went and paid him the big bucks. You got him. He's got that big sign deal, all this stuff. He's got the #1 pick contract and all these things. But do you expect to win a Super Bowl this year, or do you want to try to win a Super Bowl in 3 to 4 years? Let him sit. Even though Andy Dalton isn't like this phenomenal quarterback, he is a pro in the league and has been a pro in the league for a long time. He's dealt with adversity, has played with a lot of different teams. I dealt with him last year, so I know how vanilla and boring it is to watch it. But even if you don't start him the whole season, let him start the first 3 or 4 games. Just give him some touches. Throw him in there at fourth quarter. Do little things like that, and then fully develop them the right way. Because too many young quarterbacks get thrown into situations that aren't efficient or productive,
brother,
and it just doesn't work out.
What you're saying, you're preaching to the choir, because I think that is the reason why half of NFL players wash out. It's not because they're not good enough. It's not because they're not good enough. It's because they're put in situations where they're forced to perform, and it doesn't always happen that way. Some players don't show up when you expect them to. You put a quarterback fresh out of college in a place in a play where they're supposed to be playing with players. Some 2-3 years they're senior. Some they're so much better than they are. It's like, how do you expect older veterans to follow these young cats? It doesn't always work. It doesn't.
Very true.
It doesn't.
Very true. They're young. They're 20 years old trying to tell 28-year-olds how to live. And listen to them, listen to my command. And these boys are like, I've been in this league for 8 years. You're like, no, they got to get a mutual type of respect in deserving to be in those type of situations. It has to be earned.
Look at it. Not buy it. It can't be bought because you make so much money. It doesn't work that way.
And just quick sidebar is, even college quarterbacks, when they come in, they redshirt for 2 years most of the time.
Yeah. And
then even then, they don't start afterwards. They're just a backup. Most of the time, they only play 1, maybe 2 years of college before they get drafted. And Bryce Young and Bryce Young in particular, coming from Alabama, is that exact situation, because Alabama only starts senior quarterbacks for the most part. So, he just got to the level of college and played in and it's exceeded, and then you expect him to just go to the pros and then be highly successful too. There's levels to this. As soon as you go, we always talk about like the evolution of players, and how it's a reset button. You play in high school, you could be a 1-star, 3-star, no star recruit, but if you get on a team, none of that matters anymore, right? Then you develop where you're at. You might be started at a D1 school, do great, and then you move, or whatever, a D3 school, do great, move up to a D1 school, and then do it that way. And then it restarts again. Once you get into the pros, it restarts again. Give these players times to develop, especially at the quarterback position. They're the number one guys that have to run the offense. They got to be the voice of the whole entire offense, and you're putting it on the shoulders of 20-year-olds.
They have to be the smartest player on the field at all times.
Yeah.
But I know we didn't really necessarily finish the Seattle thing, but just to round out my Seattle situation, Geno last year, 69.8% completion percentage, 4,082 yards, 30 TDs, 11 interceptions, 100.09 passer rating. It's the best season he's ever had, and he's 32 years old.
You realize that like 69% actually is like so high. The record percentage is like 72.3%, which is held by Drew Brees. Like that is extremely high. Most starting quarterbacks are around that like 66%. That's extremely high.
And I say these stats so people understand it's not impossible for him to be one of the better quarterbacks in this league. It just sucks that it took how many years? 2013 to 2022
10
for people to recognize it. For people to recognize it, and people are so quick to throw people to the side. This is sports. It's sports. It's their job.
Yeah, I agree.
Think about it differently.
I agree. Next up was the Jacksonville Jaguars. This was another team that I thought that was going to have a tough time. Now, I did expect Trevor Lawrence to improve. I believe both thought they well overpaid, and I think most of the league believed they overpaid for Christian Kirk. They kind of destroyed the market for wide receivers with what they did with Christian Kirk. But at the same time, Christian Kirk was like, screw it, I got the money. And you know what he did that a lot of these superstars that get the money and you feel like they deserve it? He actually performed after he got the bag.
He showed up.
He actually performed. They had a great running back set over there with Etienne. Oh goodness, what's the other guy's name? I don't even know who he plays for. He got traded to the Jets at some point.
Hold on.
Look it up real quick. Is that? Well, now it's looking that up, guys. Once again, appreciate you all for stopping by. If y'all still in here live listening in, just say what's up, spam some emojis or whatever. Appreciate y'all for tuning. We got just this team and one other, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump into our grading. But much love to you guys. Also, we do still have a couple of spots left in the RFS Fantasy League number 2. We still have 4 spots remaining. We're at 8, but we're willing to take on 12. So if you know anybody that wants to do it, please come on and join it. If you're already in the first one, you're more than welcome to join the second one if you'd like. But also try to leave it open if some other people want to join it. But definitely go and join it. There will be prizes at the end of the year. Whoever wins overall, you will get a custom gift from both me and Nonpfixion. And then lastly, if you have a chance and don't mind clicking open this link, make sure to see. Now this one doesn't want to pop up. What did you say? Was it inked or tattoo? What was it?
Vote.
Oh, vote. Okay. If y'all don't mind, please go ahead and click this link below the vote here. Our good friend Austin, who has appeared on our channel a couple times, he is up in the running to win the opportunity to be a cover model for Ink magazine. He's currently in 3rd place as of like 4 hours ago in his division, so he's just 2 places behind, and he's not far behind because he was first just the other day. So if you have a chance, please go ahead. You can do the free vote option. Please don't pay money. He doesn't want anybody paying money. Click on the free vote. Click on Vote Through Facebook. You sign into your Facebook. You do have to be 18 plus in order to vote. But if you don't mind, we truly appreciate that. Thank you guys. I'll join if you need, but draft has to be Saturday. Yeah, draft is going to be Friday. Cheese said there's no way of me moving it around. So that's okay. You don't have to join. We have enough players to do it. It's just if anybody else wants to do it. But I appreciate that, Cheese. Were you able to figure it out who it is?
No, I couldn't because I didn't see the player's name.
Okay, it's fine. But anyways, so the Jaguars, I thought they were going to improve last year, but I just didn't think it was going to be that much. I thought they overpaid for Christian Kirk. I knew Etienne, was coming in, hoping he was going to do good, but I just didn't see a big upwards jump for their team. And again, this is a team that proved both of us fairly wrong. Where did we go wrong with this pick?
I mean, like you said, we didn't expect Christian Kirk to show up like he did, over 1,000 yards. Travis Etienne over 1,000 yards. Trevor Lawrence threw for over 4,000 yards. I mean, Rashawn Jenkins as a safety snatched up 3 interceptions. We were not expecting this team to show up. Even though I've been saying since we started the channel, I really like Trevor Lawrence. I've liked Trevor Lawrence since college, and I knew he's going to be good. So I just didn't know I didn't know his jump was going to be this quick. So, hey. I'm happy that they outperformed.
Hey, big shout to him. I'm happy too. Like you said, Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, I couldn't stand him because everybody was saying how much better he was than Joe Burrow, and so I had a little bit of hate towards him. But at the same time, I knew he was a skillful quarterback, and his game translated to the league, and we saw that last year. And I think he's going to continue to improve. I mean, I think they're the ones to compete with in their division this year. Titans fans and Titans are always going to think they're going to be able to compete with that because they have and they have won that division the last several years. They do have an angry Derrick Henry coming back this season, but this is the Jaguars division to lose. And so we went from a prediction for 1 to 3 to just being humble and being like we were totally off, and I see them winning 10 to 13 games this year. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and have our Houston Texans. Let's scroll on down. So this one we got right. This was definitely one of those bummers. They went 3-13 last season. It was interesting how that worked out because didn't they win like the last game in order to not have the first overall pick? So that was definitely funny.
They actually did.
They won the last game. It allowed the Bears to go ahead and get the number 1 pick, which was inevitably traded to the Carolina Panthers. But things are, I wouldn't say looking better, but looking positive. I mean, they can't look worse for the Texans. They got CJ Stroud, who I think is going to be a great quarterback in the league. And they also went and traded and got the other guy that they really wanted. So I like that they're going and grab people that they actually wanted and not waiting. But hopefully, and if you're a Texans fan, like you're praying that there's no more of this let's lose on purpose type of BS and like actually go out there and try to win games, man. Like go out there and try.
Definitely would hope so with the fact that they now have a pretty good nucleus in the coaching. I know he's an ex-player, but at the same time, there's more faith into having him in that position. So I'm kind of okay with that. I do like what they're starting to do with the drafts and everything like that. So I think they have an upside. As far as they're going to go, I don't know, but they do have an upside.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about DeMeco Ryans, who's the new head coach over there, it's so funny. I was actually watching a string of interviews of players about what they thought about DeMeco Ryans, and then the second pick that they got in the first round, his interview, and how the Texans was the first person that called him, and he got off the phone and he called his mom and his dad, and he said, I want to play for the Texans. I don't care. I don't want to play for anybody else. And that was obviously expressed to the Texans organization because it had to be to the agent to be like, no, this dude wants to play for you. And that's why they went up and traded to be able to go get him. And a lot of players have walked around in the facility. They said when they first showed up, they're like, oh, who's that guy? He's a player. And they're like, no, that's your coach. They're like, holy crap. And then when he sat down and held the meetings and stuff, they said that his energy is infectious, that he has full control, and they trust and believe in him. So we'll see how these things play out for the Texans. So I'm excited to see it. But overall,
honestly,
we did.
Let's be honest, we actually did pretty good. I know people want to talk trash, but if anything, we're the biggest misses, of course, is Pittsburgh and the Lions and Atlanta. I guess you could put them in there, but I mean, the Jets. I think it made sense why we chose that. It made sense with Washington why we chose that. It made sense with Seattle why we chose that. It even made sense with, to a point, Kansas City and San Francisco. So we were off on those, but at the same time, if you listen to what we're saying, it makes sense why we were off.
That's the one thing. We always back up our points, and we also don't mind being proven wrong. And we'd rather be proven wrong in the way of your team winning more. I ain't no hater on no team except for the Falcons. But let us know in the comments down below who you think is going to have the biggest rise in their wins this coming year, and let us know who you think is going to have the greatest falls this year and have lesser wins. But that's our prediction for this one. Not too bad.
Oh yeah, and then also, like, we've been doing the predictions for the season, game by game, win or loss, and that it's actually a playlist. There's also a playlist, like, if you just want to listen to it and you don't have time to watch, I upload the playlist. It is now its own actual podcast. So if you go and look up Real Fan Sports or look up NFL Prediction Real Fan Sports, it should pull up and you can just listen to it without worrying about the video.
Yes, put it on in your car. There's not a whole bunch to see. Just listen to it on your way to work or while you're chilling doing some homework.
Yes.
All right, so that's going to go ahead and wrap that up. So let's go ahead, and I think I still got the intro one I do. Let me take that off. I'm going to go run to the restroom real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the stuff that a lot of y'all are here for, which is our grading of each team. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go team by team. Let's see. Let me see. I'll just pull it up here. Let me hide this, pull this up. What we're going to do is go team by team. We're going to give you a grade based off your quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight end, defense, kicker, and then bench. And then we're going to go ahead and just do your overall grade. As we're going through it, feel free to drop in the comments or in the chat the grade that you give the team as we go through. We're going to try and go through this pretty quick. We actually went through the first thing pretty fast, bro. Like, we went through it like within less than an hour, so that was actually good. Yeah. So I'm going to go run to the restroom real quick, and then we'll get started with that.
Yep.
Oh, I did not mean to press that. And then also, if anyone that's in the fantasy league, if y'all want to go ahead and message in the group on the fantasy, on the Discord and or the league itself, let everybody know that we're doing our grading of everybody's team right now if they want to come tune in.
Yeah, do that on the app, on the Sleeper app. So what Friday is it for the draft? For the next one is this Friday coming up. So in 2 days. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, 2 days. Yeah. Said B plus. I think Jefferson. Yeah, you actually had it. You took Robinson before I got him. I wanted Robinson or Pierce. I was like, both of those I actually kind of wanted. And then who else was another person that you picked that I wanted? Oh, I was looking at Herbert. But I think that was it. I knew somebody would grab Mahomes quick, so I wasn't really tripping. So you can't hold it, bro. Let's go. He's been holding for an hour, woman. Have some patience. Have some patience, woman. Okay, now that he's back, I'll be right back. Not your back. I'll be right back.
All right, cool. Well, so I see G's had already given himself his rating. He says B plus. I haven't looked at anything. I'll let you know. I have no preparation. I looked at it the day after, like right of the draft. Like afterwards, I went and looked over and some things that I saw from every team that I think what I personally would have done a little bit differently. But how y'all all feeling a week after the draft? Are y'all ready for the second season of Real Fan Sports Fantasy? It's definitely exciting. I'm going to go ahead and drop the fantasy link in again right now. I know I just posted it, but I'll post it one more time because we do have a second league that is open and ready to go. The draft will be Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time. The winner of both leagues will get a custom picked prize from me and Nonpfixion. Last year we did a custom pint glass similar to this right here. I'm not sure. I think it was an official NFL glass, but we had your team's logo, and then underneath in the wording, we had RFS champ, and then the year's Roman numerals. So last year was 2022, I believe. So this year will be 2023 or whatever it was. I'll go back. But you will get some type of prize. You know, we're hoping to be able to get a even bigger prize this year. It just all depends on a couple different things, but there will be a custom pick prize for everybody. Nate said F, LOL. Skyla said, this woman has no patience. Skyla, we are all well aware. You don't have to tell anybody. Can we talk about the University of Nebraska's volleyball team? Skyla, first off, I've been telling you for how long now to start to come take part, and we'll do some volleyball stuff. We did do one reaction back in the day. I'm always down to do another volleyball reaction. But I definitely don't know anything about the Nebraska volleyball team, so feel free to enlighten us on that. She said no. She says comeback season. Yeah, you were close, she said. You were close last year, man. Your team just folded right at the end. Which said somebody comment on just like the total wrong video. Scott said they just broke the world record with how many people they had. What do you mean with how many people they had? What does that mean? Like how many players they had? See, now you gotta be confused. You said good, look them up right now. All right, Nebraska volleyball team. I mean, is there like some particular that I'm searching up? Or if I just search up Nebraska volleyball team, it's going to pop up. Guys, I searched it and it's just give me a link to their like thing. Oh, okay. Oh, sports attendance. They beat the record for sports attendance. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's see. In the stadium. Let's see. Nebraska volleyball sets world record for women's sports attendance. The largest crowd ever to witness a women's sporting event filled Memorial Stadium on Wednesday night as 92,003 fans watched the five-time NCAA champion Nebraska Huskers volleyball team take on Omaha. After the Huskers won the first two sets on their way to their three-set sweep, the attendance record was announced to the red-clad Nebraska faithful who cheered wildly. Unbelievable. The picture's crazy, by the way.
What are you talking about?
That is really cool. Nebraska set a record for the biggest women's sporting event filled in Memorial Stadium on Wednesday night. They had 92,003 fans.
Oh, cool. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, hey, yo, big shout out to Nebraska. Big shout out to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They played in the football stadium. Man, if I could ever go. Well, you know, maybe one day, if you're nice.
That's so stupid.
Google freaking anything, dude. I did Google it, but I didn't know how to pop it up. All right. What you munching on, bro? You got some pizza?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I've done a volleyball reaction. It did terrible. Those guys find volleyball interesting. The only thing y'all are good at is going to look at the booties. I mean, they wear the shorts. We don't tell them to wear the shorts.
I mean,
but that was also. Go ahead. Sorry.
I will say that some of us actually do watch sports, so the booty is just a cherry on top of the sport. Because I watch volleyball. My friend used to play in high school, so.
I mean, first of all, volleyball is like hella entertaining, and those that don't think volleyball is entertaining, I'm just letting you know y'all are wrong. Especially like at the higher levels of volleyball, they're all over the place, man. It's definitely fun to watch. And you also got to think, Scott, that video that we did, that was like within the first 3 months of the channel. It wasn't going to get a whole bunch of views, and even now, a lot of our American videos still don't get a whole lot of views. But doesn't mean we don't do them or we shouldn't do them.
Yeah, you can't look at it like that.
We like to watch all different videos, man. I mean, shoot, we put out like 40 NFL videos just over the last 2 months, and I don't think only a couple of them have broke 100, but it don't matter. You just put that content out, and people find it eventually the more you put it up. Yeah, Gia said, I don't know, volleyball is kind of interesting. It is pretty fun. It's definitely fun, especially when you watch them like crazy athletic ones where they have those long rallies, or the ones where they got to do the huge saves, like that's like way outside the court, like they're jumping into the stands to go and hit it. It's like they have no fear. It's definitely fun to watch.
None whatsoever.
All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's look at let me organize this a little differently again. Let me make some changes really quick just to my setup so it's easier for you to see. Okay. All right, we're gonna take a look at JTVANNESS, aka Cheesehead. We're gonna take a look at his team. Let's go ahead and rank the quarterback first. He has Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love on his team. That's his 2 quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is, I mean, he's going to start majority of the time except for his bye week. I'm not high on Love, but I really don't think it matters because you're not going to play Love unless Mahomes is on a bye. So I'm cool with putting an A here.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right. We'll go A. Running backs. We have Bijan Robinson, who just came out with his own Dijon mustard brand. I don't know if you saw that. Thought that was hilarious.
That's cool.
It's called Bijan Mustardson, I think, or something like that. It's what it's called. The commercial's hilarious.
Funny.
They have a quarterback that throws a hot dog at him, and he catches it. He catches it in the bun, and then squirts the mustard, and he goes, "Yum," or something like that. All right, so Bijan Robinson. I mean, that's good. And you got him in the second round. There's a couple people that had him in the first round, so that's really good value there. Dameon Pierce in the 4th round. Again, another running back that I really like. This is where things start getting a little bit worse once you get over to Cam Akers. I'm not a fan of Cam Akers. I don't put a lot of value in him as running back. Whether if you're having a bye week where you have to substitute Dameon Pierce or Robinson in, I don't feel comfortable with playing Akers. Next up, he has his Khalil Herbert. Not a horrible pick, but from what the articles that I have read about him is that he's not going to do any more, any less than what he's done in other years unless players get injured. So if their other running backs are healthy, he's going to be a minimal carry type of guy, even though I think he should be the main guy because when he is the starter, he does well. But for whatever reason, Chicago doesn't value him that way. I still think it's a decent pick in the 7th round.
Also, part of it is Chicago, because of the quarterback play, they don't really utilize the running back like they should. They don't. They just don't.
Very true. And then in his sleeper is Deuce Vaughn, which, I did a couple of things of research about Deuce Vaughn, and he is definitely for sure a sleeper. But a lot of people feel like he's going to have a very similar 1-2 punch with Zeke and Pollard. Even though he's smaller, they still think he's going to get a good bit of touches.
Yeah.
So when I look at these 5 running backs here that we have, I really enjoy the first 2. These middle 2, not the hugest fan of. And then the bottom one, I think that's a great steal right at the end. What are you willing to give him as a grade for that?
I mean, I do agree with what you said about the middle 2 passes for the running back. I mean,
I really want to say like C plus. It's
like
C plus B minus. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think when you, C plus. All right, we'll go C plus here. I like I said, I just think with the I think when you have bye weeks, you'll win heavy running back, and there's definitely some people that could have went ahead of these guys. We'll look at wide receivers next. Wide receivers, we'll start off with Jay Jetta's #1 wide receiver. I love that first round pick. I don't think you can go wrong with the first pick overall being Justin Jefferson. I love that. Your second pick is Chris Godwin. Now, Chris Godwin has been an efficient wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but even last year with Brady, he still struggled. He only had, I believe, 3 or 4 touchdowns last year. I believe he did surpass 1,000 yards, or if not, he was very close. But I think things are going to get more complicated this year with Baker. Godwin is not someone that I would have reached anything sooner than like the 8th or 9th round, personally. Traylon Burks, we have there with Tennessee. I think Traylon Burks is going to fine. I think he's actually going to do better because D-Hop is going to take the #1s off of him, and I think he's going to have a pretty good year. I'm not mad at him way down there. I think that's a great place to pick him. After that, you have Sky Moore. There might be something that I'm missing with Sky Moore. Sky Moore was my sleeper last year, and they only used him really for punt and kick returns, and as a wide receiver, you don't get points for those returns. If he were to run a couple of those back. Now, with the limited wide receivers in KC, could he step up and be a target for Mahomes? Only time will tell. The thing with Mahomes is that he's going to work around a couple different ones, and he'll eventually find one that he does like and will look at more often, but he'll never get more looks than Travis Kelce, and I also don't think he's going to get consistent looks week in and week out. And then...
You're probably right about that one.
And then lastly, as his last pick, he got Rondale Moore, which as a last pick, I think is good. I mean, Arizona has Hollywood Brown. They have Rondale Moore. I thought Moore is a receiver that should have got more looks last year and just didn't. Mm-hmm. So I'm not mad at this pick at all. Overall with these, what are you looking at? I'm not too fond. The only ones that I really like is obviously Jay Jetta's, and I do like the Traylon Burks. I think Godwin was a reach. I think Moore was a reach, and then Rondale Moore, I think is fine, but he's a last second guy.
The Moore situation might turn out to be better than what we all believe, just because of the injury status of Kadarius Toney, and then the reliability of Scantling. More, and then there's another receiver that a lot of people have actually been talking about, but no one drafted. Rashee Rice is the person that people were talking about. So in that situation, Moore still will get touches, but probably won't be as much as the younger Rice.
Interesting. So as a grade,
this might
she said, I don't want to do you bad, but I'm looking. I don't see anything above a C.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Justin Jefferson holds you down, but I think every other, like, you're gonna start Justin Jefferson, you're gonna start Godwin, you're gonna start Burks. When I look at that starting lineup, I look at C. If we're looking just at the starters, I'm looking at C and a very generous C. So I'm cool with a C there.
Yeah, I was thinking C as well.
All right. Tight ends. George Kittle. Great tight end. Got him in the 5th round too. He tried to trade him for me and tried to steal CeeDee Lamb off me by trading me upgrading my tight end to George Kittle. Look, it was a semi-decent trade. The second one was a semi-decent trade, but I don't need, and he tried to combo Chris Godwin in there. I don't want Chris Godwin. That's why I didn't get it. But you got Kittle, and then you got Musgrave, tight end from Green Bay. Now, you might know something more than I do about tight ends, and I don't know much about Musgrave if he is the #1 and how he'll be used. But I know with a quarterback that's just trying to limit mistakes in Jordan Love, tight ends tend to be a favorite. So I'm not mad at this at all. What do you think about his tight ends?
Man, I'm right there in the same pocket as you. Not really mad at it. I think some solid choices. Nothing really super jumps off the screen, but still solid.
Yeah, I think this is B plus. I think B plus.
Be okay with that.
I don't think it's quite A, but I think, you know, getting Kittle in that fifth is great. So, look at defense. We just have one Miami Dolphins defense. This was a defense that we ranked high, that we said that was, you know, within what we had them in the top. We had them in the top 12. I think, did we have them top 8?
I think they might have been.
We were arguing a lot about defense. Yeah. We were arguing a lot about defense. I'm not mad about this one. I'm cool with like a B here. You cool with that, or you think it a little higher, a little lower?
No, I'm solid with that one.
Okay. Kicker, Butker. I mean, they're not going to kick a whole bunch of field goals because they're going to go for touchdowns, but they're going to score a lot of points, so it doesn't matter. So, I'm like A-okay with this. I mean, I think it's an A grade for a kicker. Yeah. Overall bench, we're looking at. Let's see, make sure that y'all can see everything that I got my mouse on here. Oh, it's not showing y'all my mouse. That's weird. Okay, so on the bench, you're gonna have Akers, Herbert, Sky Moore, Jordan Love, Musgrave, Deuce Vaughn, and Rondale Moore. Going top to bottom. I mean, realistically, Akers on a bench is not a bad thing. I just don't have trust in him. So, you know, like, I can't grade it low. I think there's better running backs out there, but I can't grade it low. He went back-to-back running backs just to try to save himself. I think that was the right order to go, especially, you know, with running backs becoming less and less available. Sky Moore, I think, is a risk. You said Musgrave is the starter, so I'm cool with that. Vaughn is a risk, but it was a late one. Moore's a risk, but it's a late one. I don't think this is a bad bench. I just don't think it's an excellent bench. Where do you
I don't think it's an excellent bench either. As far as the ranking, that one I don't know. What you're the resident fantasy pro. So what are your thoughts? Kind of things are different when it's fantasy compared to higher real world.
I like C. I think he's middle of the pack. And now, Cheesehead, you have either the fortunate or the fortunate part of this of being the first person that we're looking at. So some of this might change after we look through some of these, but we aren't going to go back. But I got your bench as a C. And then everybody in the chat, let me know what y'all think his overall grading should be. We got A at quarterback, C plus at running back, C at wide receiver, B plus tight end, B defense, kicker A, bench C. I mean, if you want to put points to what these values are worth, I got them at a B minus or a C plus. What are you?
I'll be B minus. B minus. I think it's a good overall number.
All right, I'm cool with that too. All right, next up, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Charm City's team. Mr. Charles goes and grabs McCaffrey first off. So we'll start off with quarterback same way. Quarterbacks, he has Jalen Hurts and Geno Smith. A plus.
I mean, just based on what we just talked about, the two really good quarterbacks. Yeah. I think that's a solid quarterback room.
A plus. Also, based off of point predictions, Charles actually has the best predicted score out of everybody in the league right now. I don't know if he even realizes it, but he does.
Does it really?
Yep. Running back room, we have Christian McCaffrey. Great. Alexander Madison. He's going to be the number 1 over at Minnesota. He has Algiers. Very interesting that he only went 3 running backs. You know, typically you would like to probably go 4 just because the running backs do get super, super thin throughout the season. There aren't normally a lot of them that are on waivers. Charles, if you are in here, I do suggest that save your waiver position as long as you can until there's a running back injury or something like that, and go and grab a running back that's going to become a starter, or possibly working out a trade to get a 4th running back that can either take Madison's spot or even just a mediocre pay, just so you can have somebody else there. But you're only going to start 2. So McCaffrey, great. Madison, I'm not mad at. I want to see how he's going to do with being the full-time guy. I know he was the full-time guy for, a couple games with Dalvin Cook being injured, and he performed well. Algier, I love that Algier pick. What are we thinking for the running back grade?
I don't
know. Just because my thing is I love the first one. Madison, I'm not in love with, but I'm also not angry with.
Yeah.
And then Algier, that late, I love it. So I want to say either B+ or A-.
I will go B+ on that one.
All right, we'll go B+. Wide receivers. Chris Olave, a early bite. Really early bite on Chris Olave. I love that you grabbed him. But early bite on Chris Olave. There's definitely some better guys out there. He goes ahead and goes 3 back-to-back in these rounds here. Drake London. He's going to be the number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I like that.
So I like that. George Pickens. I love that.
I like that one.
Jay Addison, don't know much about him, but he is supposed to be the number 2 behind Justin Jefferson. The only problem is now you're going to have I'm thinking of Cheesehead. So I'm not mad at that. You go and grab OBJ a little bit later. I mean, I'm cool with that. I know you wanted a Ravens guy. I mean, as far as overall value, there's no telling what it's going to be like. I mean, he surprised a lot of people when he joined with the Rams and all of a sudden it wasn't like a big yardage machine, but he grabbed touchdowns, and OBJ I think will still do that. And then you go back-to-back late. You go Mooney, who was the former number 1 in Chicago, now number 2, possibly number 3, depending. And then you go the rookie Hyatt, that comes from Tennessee, who I loved. He was actually a guy that I was thinking the Saints might draft at some point and just double up and get another wide receiver. You went very wide receiver heavy, which I love. I don't love this Chris Olave pick. I love these 3 picks here. And I really like these last picks too. I'm kind of in the same boat with the running back, but I think I have to go a little bit lower because you overvalued your first running back, your 2nd round pick.
I could see a B being there, just a straight up B.
Yeah, cool with a B. Tight ends, Kyle Pitts, and then Meyer from the Raiders. Kyle Pitts, solid pick in the 4th round. Can't be mad at it. I don't know anything about Meyer. What's his potential over with the Raiders?
I mean, now that Waller's gone, he should get some playing time. But I don't know how they're going to do I don't know if they're going to run like a patented Patriots type two tight end set, or they're going to use him as a blocking. So it could turn out great. It could turn out very bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume he's going to, we've seen a lot of tight ends come out of New England while Josh McDaniels was there. Garoppolo likes his tight ends. He loved Kittle. So you'd think that he gets a good grade there. I think I'm kind of all in the same category. I really like this team, man. I really enjoy this team.
Solid pickups. So
you think B again?
I would say a B again. Yeah.
Okay. Defense. You got Philly defense. I mean, you got A, right? Yep. Kicker. He gets McPherson from Cincinnati. McPherson wasn't bad last year. He definitely had a couple of misses, but Cincinnati's a team that scores a good bit. I don't think it's an A, like a B. Do you rank McPherson high?
B is fine. I think B is fine, especially because you don't know how reliant they're going to be on him as far as not getting into the red zone or any issues like that. So he's a good solid kicker, but points wise he might not be a good point getter.
Yeah. And then his overall bench. So we're looking at starting running backs being McCaffrey and Addison, wide receivers being. We'll just go through this: Olave, London, Pickens. That is their starters. So we're doing bench. My goodness, I'm messing up here. All right, so we're looking at Addison, Geno Smith, Odell Beckham, Meyer, Algier, Mooney, and Hyatt. Algier pick is phenomenal. I think that value there is going to be great. Addison is definitely going to be an interesting one. I would hope that would play well. I'm trying to look at what the order was. I feel like there might have been a couple of number ones or guaranteed number twos that were still up there that might have got picked after him that you might have looked a little bit differently. So I'm going to deduct a little bit of a point there. Odell Beckham, I just don't know what he's going to be valued for. He might have a game that's really good and then might have a stinker where he doesn't get a single catch. Geno Smith is great. Meyer is up in the air. Mooney I like, and Hyatt is an interesting one. I mean, they really are still trying to figure out who their wide receiver room looks like with the Giants. So, what do we think of this bench? Do you think?
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be in the same range as the ones before.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think that overall it looks really good, but when you just look at the bench individually, a lot of it's going to depend on how they're played. There's no guarantee it's like, oh, this backup is going to perform really well, except for Geno and Algier is kind of how I look at it.
So like got a C for the bench.
C for the bench. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And then overall, B plus. B plus, maybe A minus. What you think?
Yeah, I would say B plus.
All right, B plus. Scott said we're slow. All right, we'll speed up a little bit. Just to make you happy, Skyline, since you're impatient. Jay Brisk 40.
You're just impatient.
Jay Brisk 40, quarterback. Josh Allen and Kenny Pickett. I like the Josh Allen pick. I don't like how 3 quarterbacks just all got picked straight in a row here, but I'm not mad at the Josh Allen pick. Kenny Pickett, someone a lot of people are high on. When you look at the other people that are below him, I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
What like A minus for this? Or B plus? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I was thinking B plus.
B plus? All right, we'll go B plus. Running backs, Josh Jacobs, who is back. Good to hear. Jamal Williams, right? Jamal Williams? That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, sorry. I always get the Javonte Williams, Dalvin Cook, and Bigsby. I don't know anything about Bigsby. I'm not even really am I even concerned too much about Bigsby? I think Etienne's going to take over most of the handles. They really don't use their running backs back and forth with each other. I love the Josh Jacobs pick. I think it was early just because at the time of the draft, you didn't know what to expect. But, I mean, Josh Jacobs did his thing, and he did his thing under the McDaniels offense. Hopefully that stays the same, but, like, God forbid it should. So I do like this pick here. I do like the Dalvin Cook pick. The Javonte Williams pick, he was great unless he's injured. I'm thinking like C plus just because these two are so injury prone. And like it even makes me want to go even a little bit lower of maybe like C minus just because they're so injury prone. If one of them gets hurt, if they both get hurt, you're screwed. You have no help.
I'm with you with the C plus. I'm with you with the C plus 100%.
You know C plus? I'm gonna give him a C because I even think C minus. We'll go with C because the injury thing scares me.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, Jamar Chase. Like that pick. That early is definitely a little bit of a risk, but just because we don't know what Burrow, but still a solid pick. DJ Moore, I think there was better receivers before him. Assuming this is Quentin Johnston. Don't know too much about Quentin Johnston. Do you know?
No.
And I'll just be honest. I don't know much about him. Gabriel Davis, I'm cool with. Rashad Bateman, he was number 1 last year, but I think he falls down that depth chart a little bit. I still think he's going to get touches, but getting him that late still has value. But I'm thinking kind of the same thing. Like, I mean, I think Jamar Chase is your only like lock at starter. Like, you're going to start DJ Moore, but I don't think he's going to be a lock throughout the whole season. Is where my concerns. Like, I'm thinking like C minus, maybe even D plus. Like, I don't want to keep giving y'all good grades just because I'm being nice. Like, but like I don't really love this wide receiver.
C minus.
Like C minus. We'll go C minus.
Yeah.
Tight ends. Laporta. I know Nate Brisky was telling us that he's going to be great with the Lions. They did utilize tight ends pretty well, but in the past. And then he's got Okonkwo from Tennessee. I really don't like that pick.
Does he get the ball?
He don't. That's why I'm saying I don't.
I was like, I don't remember him catching the ball.
I don't know much about Laporta, and I could have him just like completely off. This is his first year. He is a rookie. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know where he got him, and you might not have valued tight ends, but like when you had guys like, I don't know what way it went, but either you had Kittle or you had Ingram or Goddard or Waller. I have got to give this. I got to give it a D at the best.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the Okonkwo, his career, career has 32 receptions on 46 targets, 450 yards. He's been in the league since he got drafted last year. And it's Tennessee, who do they really use their tight ends like that?
I don't even know if I want to give him a D. I'm giving it a D just because I don't know about Laporta, but like really, I think this is an F when you see guys like I said, like Ingram, Goddard, Waller, Firemuth. There's still some more guys over on this right side too. Like, I feel like you really dropped the ball with this Laporta pick. Do I want to say D or do we want to go even lower than that?
I mean, we can be generous with the D, but
okay.
it might
be generous.
It might be worth. It might be. Oh, yeah, I'll be generous with D. It might be less stuff.
I only had a chance to use it. Defense. Bills and Steelers, fucking A freaking plus. My goodness.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Kicker, Carlson.
That's what I wanted. God dang, you took my kicker.
I like. It's a kicker, and it's not someone that we don't know how many points Las Vegas is going to put up this year, but they're going to kick field goals and they're going to kick long ones, and he can kick long ones. So I don't know if I want to say A, but I definitely see B plus.
I'm going to say A. He just hit a 62-yarder, so I'm going to say A.
All right,
he got some of the most points in the last couple of years in fantasy.
All right. Let's go ahead and look at the bench. 2 starters, 3 starters. So bench is going to be Gabriel Davis, Cook, Pickett, Okonkwo, Bateman, Bigsby, Steelers. Cool. Pickett, not mad at. Cool. These 2, cool. Bigsby, not sure about. Dalvin Cook, I do like. Yeah, C. I mean, benches always kind of look like C's. Like I'm cool with a C.
Yeah.
But overall, like this team, and we're looking at what they have. He has a couple A's, but the A's are all in places that don't make or break a team. And with that, I can't go any better than a C minus.
Right there with you.
All right. Let's go ahead and move up to Nate Brisky. Quarterbacks. Nate Brisky, are you still here? Are you still here, Nate? Do you want my honest opinion, Nate?
Because he's the one that got he misclicked and picked up what's the name up?
He did misclick, but I mean that's unfortunate. Your starting quarterback right now is Anthony Richardson. Your backup is Brock Purdy. D minus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe Brock will be great and it'll work out, and maybe Richardson will be great and it'll work out, but like overall, goodness. Running backs, we have Eckler. Good. Aaron Jones. Could have been a little bit early, but still, I mean, still good. And we're gonna judge this based off of if they don't get Jonathan Taylor, because we didn't know that was gonna happen. So I'll still say good. Yeah. David Montgomery, I think he's gonna be the pound in their run defense. You know, he's gonna have similar role as Jamal Williams was. So I mean, I'm cool with that. I really like those three. Akani, I don't know much about. I admit I didn't know much about it during the draft. And then Ezekiel Elliott that late, I'm not mad at it at all. I think his running backs are not phenomenal, but like very decent. Like what are you thinking?
Akani is also questionable too. There's a big old question mark by his name. Like I said, I agree with you. I think it's decent. It's decent.
It's like
we don't really know
where do you think low?
Yeah, I'll go B-, because I don't know what's gonna happen with Ezekiel Elliott. He did come into camp much higher, 10 to 15 pounds higher than what he should have been. At his lightest weight, he's been his most effective as a running back. Like I said, Kane, have no idea who he is. Akani, Kane, however you want to say it, don't know. I could have been better, but it's okay.
Wide receivers, he grabbed a lot of number 2s, which can be good or bad, but the number 2s he got are other than Devontae Smith, I think are some of the best number 2s in the league. So I really do like the Waddle and Higgins pick.
Yes.
But I think, I mean, when you come, I mean, actually, to be honest, it's the only one that I think that you missed on was like a Keenan Allen, Devontae Smith, and maybe like a Ridley or something like that. So I'm not mad at these wide receivers. I like these two so far. Zay Flowers pick, phenomenal. I'm so mad you grabbed him because I wanted him. Love that pick. Jimmy Smith-Schuster, he's number 1 wide receiver. This is great. Wide receivers go. I think I kind of want to go like A- just because you don't have a true number 1, even though I think Zay Flowers will be that number 1, and Smith-Schuster is technically a number 1, but like you just don't know because Patriots are so weird with how they use wide receivers. But I do like an A- here. What do you think?
I can see an A-. I do, even though like you said that he doesn't have a true number 1. Even though we know Tyreek Hill is the number 1, blah blah blah. I think Waddle is just as important as Hill in that offense.
Very much so.
So I think you're okay with utilizing Waddle.
Yep. We'll go A1 here. I could see a B+ too, but like I'll be generous because I just really like those two. I really do. I think your starting 2 is great, and you just gotta hope Zay Flowers works out and does what he needs to do. And if he does, then you're going to have a solid wide receiver core. The one thing I would have done differently, though, I think you should have got another wide receiver somewhere in here. You have 5 running backs in a PPR league. PPR is very important with having receptions and stuff like that. So you might have want to swap out one of these with another wide receiver, or even not gone quarterback back-to-back and grab the wide receiver. I think that's where you truly messed up. And I put an A-, but after looking at that, I think I kind of convinced myself to go a high B+. I'm not gonna lie. Tight end Ingram Firemouth. I don't think it's super exciting, but it is definitely a solid B. Tight Ingram.
It's solid,
It's a solid B. Defense, Cowboys and Lions. I'm not mad at that. I think what B you think? I mean, I don't know if I want to give an A, but like I think a B is solid.
Yes, I think B is solid.
Kicker, we have Myers from Seattle. I mean, how much did Myers do last year? Can I pull that? I didn't pull this up. It shows 22. Let's see.
It's showing individual game.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
What are you exactly trying to see?
I'm just looking at like what points he had. He never really had a game. He never had a game above 10 points. From what it. Oh no, he had a couple. Oh. They just aren't showing. Oh, here's the points. Okay, so he had a couple near the end of the stretch. B-.
Yeah.
B-. And then overall bench. Your bench is, let's see. You're gonna have Montgomery, Freiermuth, Smith-Schuster. We'll say Purdy just because that's who you picked last. Akani, Elliott, and then Detroit Lions defense.
I think the only real question mark is the Kane, to be honest, out of his bench. The others are actually pretty. I would say they're pretty solid. They're not like they don't jump off the they don't jump off the paper, but they're still solid players.
I think Montgomery's solid. I think Freiermuth's solid. I think Schuster is solid. Purdy is a solid backup. Elliott, I think, is solid if it works out. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Yeah. Are we gonna have our first B defense bench? I think it's the first B bench.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, you got a lot of B's here, a couple of these in defense and kicker. Your quarterback is where you drop the ball. Your running backs, I think you drop the ball a little bit as well. I'm cool with C, just a C, straight up C, maybe C+. What are you thinking?
I mean, being that's all B's, I would say just give him a B flat.
Give him B flat. Well, he has a D at quarterback, though, and a D minus. It probably is the worst quarterback decisioning. I can't go B when he has a D minus on the board. That's the lowest grade we've given so far.
Well, I'm just looking at all the other B's. I'm just thinking of actual grading. I
mean, I can give him a C+. It's just...
Yeah, I would say C. Then give him a C+ then.
I'll give him a C+. And the thing is, we do have to be generous with this. It's the first time doing this, so like obviously we have to judge a little differently. But like there will be teams that have bad grades. But we'll go over to non. Can y'all still see non? No, you can't. So you just see.
Y'all can go ahead and give it F. I know y'all want to. It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Ooh. All right. Quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, Jared Goff. Do you want? We'll just talk it through. I love the Justin Herbert pick. Jared Goff pick. Y'all are excited about it. I still have nervous tendencies with it, but I do think with Justin Herbert, it's going to carry the load. You might only need Goff for 1 week.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do like B+ here. Are you cool with that grade? What's your thoughts on it? I mean, tell me your thoughts.
I'm cool with a B+. Cause I think even though I know a lot of people are not high on Goff, even the way we talked about him, there are some stretches he had really good stretches last year, and I had him as a backup on my team. So he actually worked out pretty well during a certain stretch before I even got rid of him. Pulled him in, used him 4 games, he was perfect, then got rid of him. So it worked out great for me. So I think he'll work out again.
I really like your running back room. I said that after we got off stream the other day. Nick Chubb, Etienne. It's going to be your 2 starters. Brian Robinson, I think he's going to have a great year. Rashad Penny with Philly. You would hope if he stays healthy, he can take over that second spot. And then Elijah Mitchell is a guy that, if he's healthy, he'll be okay. And he's your deep depth with that. So really running backs, I think you have. Shoot, I think I'd be willing to give you an A+ for your running backs, if I'm be honest with you.
I was hoping so. That's why I was trying to get a good running back room.
Yeah, yeah, I do like that. Wide receivers, we have Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is a top wide receiver. I still just want to see how it fits into the play.
Yeah.
I don't think you overspent on him, because if you weren't getting him, someone was going to get it before you went back. You wanted him, so you got him, and so like you can't be mad at it. Brandon Ayuk, I mean, I love that, especially with Brock Purdy now officially being the number 1 quarterback. He loved Ayuk. Ayuk's stats rose to incredible amounts when Brock Purdy started.
I agree.
He led Debo in yards, touchdowns, and targets. So I love that. DeJounte Johnson, I like that as well. Of course, Mike Thomas, I like it. I mean, there's no telling if he's going to be injured. He's your 4th wide receiver. You want to hope he's healthy. If he's healthy, then it's going to be great. If he isn't, is where you're going to have some problems.
And that's why I picked him so low. Yeah.
And then Zay Jones as a last-minute heave. It's not bad. I mean, they have 2 other guys now. So where he's going to fit is going to be the question, but he's still not bad. I think if I were you, I might have tried to get another wide receiver somewhere else. But there was obviously some things that you really wanted, because like I'm seeing it, and like you really wanted Elijah Mitchell, so I'm not mad at that. maybe of getting someone before Rashad Penny, just because you don't know with injuries and stuff. You could have got another wide receiver there instead of getting Zay Jones at the bottom. But I still think this is very solid. I'm at like B plus A minus, to be honest, man. I really like your skill players right here. I'm gonna give you B plus just because I can't keep giving you A's, bro.
That's fine. That's fine. I agree with it. You know?
Yep. Tight ends, Hawkinson and Higbee. I mean, how did Higbee fall that far is what's beyond me. That's why you grabbed him. Because like I was about to say you could have grabbed the wide receiver here, but why would you when you have Higbee right there? Like, because if Stafford's healthy, Higbee's gonna get his touches. Like he always gets his touches. So, I am not on board with the Hawkinson thing as much as what a whole bunch of other people are, because I think they're going to utilize wide receivers more than they do tight ends, as they have done in several years. But I do like the Higbee pick, and I'm leaning between like B and B plus because of the Higbee pick. I'll let you give your grade. What do you think? Like, give me your honest opinion.
I would say a B because I would say B, because even with the Hawkinson, when I picked him, it really was a pick him so nobody else would get him. It wasn't really like I really needed him, because I could have rolled one tight end and then picked somebody out of waivers if I really wanted to, but I didn't want nobody to pick him up, so I was just being a little selfish. So I just gave myself a B.
Okay, I'm cool with that. Josiah said, yo, from my team, you have to remember the trade. No, we do not, because this is the draft rating. I don't care about what you trade, who you picked up, who you dropped. I don't care about any of that. It's your draft that we're grading.
Nate said I did him wrong by stealing his player.
Defense, you have
Jaguars,
and you got him. Good.
I mean, even though I think it's a decent pick, I'm gonna pick a couple and let the computer just pick one for me and see what happens. And it came out to be Jacksonville, so
it's not great, but it's solid. And I like that you just waited so long. I mean, like, and the thing is, you're gonna trade out defenses just about every week depending on matchup. So it's not. I'm going based off of draft position that you picked them. I'm really cool with that. And you couldn't grab the Commanders, which probably would have been your next pick. So I mean, I'm not bad at it. We'll go C plus.
My Commanders is actually my pick, the pick that I wanted, because I know how underrated they are. Yeah, so I wanted them.
Kicker is Gano. What you think of Gano? I mean, I think he's like middle tier. Like, I'm not mad at him. I'm not excited about him either.
He's definitely middle tier. I wasn't excited about him. The person I wanted was already off the board, so I knew exactly who I wanted. And it's funny because I got him last year, Carlson, and he just was so good for me last year. But I like Gano. I think he's solid, a good kicker. As far as this team, if they score like they were scoring last year, he might do well. Yeah. But it just, who knows?
I'm gonna put it as C just because there's no in between. But like, really, defense and kicker at C's is not a bad thing to have, because you trade them out. Kickers you trade out too. And then we're just gonna take a look at overall bench, and I think your bench is probably the highest that we've seen so far. You got your 2 running backs here, 3 wide receivers here. So you're looking at your backups being Brian Robinson, Michael Thomas, Jared Goff, Rashad Penny, Elijah Mitchell, Tyler Higbee, and then Zay Jones. Honestly, I think this is the best backup that we've seen so far. My biggest concerns is just injury with Elijah Mitchell, injury with Penny. Yeah. That's the thing that's going to worry me the most. I think that's the thing that's going to take me away from giving you a. But I still think if they're healthy, that I think it deserves an A minus.
Yeah, when I tried to draft 2 true starting squads, and like I said, a couple players kind of fell because certain ones got yanked, but without really doing true research, I think I did pretty decent.
And overall grade, I mean, I'm honestly, dude, compared to your last draft and this draft, but like, I know we didn't even do homework for this either. Like, this is like night and day from your last draft. Your last draft, I was like, I don't like it. I knew you got a decent rating based off the email they sent you, but I didn't like it. This draft, this is a good draft. I'm going A here.
Well, thank you. I thought it was pretty decent myself.
Let's look at Josiah. Josiah already said that he has a B plus. That's what he thinks. So let's see what we think. Starting quarterback, he went with the late round picks. A couple guys went in the late round back-to-back quarterback situations. Nate did, Josiah did, and as well as the other BRIZKEY did. Bryce Young and Russell Wilson. I'm not excited about either or. I think Bryce Young may at the end could be able to gather up something, but he's just young. You just don't know. Like, you're going to have several games where he's probably only going to put up 10 points, if that. Like, you're going to have those type of games. Russell Wilson is just, it's a shot in the dark. I mean, you just have no idea. Will he be Russell Wilson from 3 years ago, or will he be Russell Wilson from last year that, again, had a lot of 10-point games? As quarterback, I think he has better quarterbacks than the other BRIZKEY did. Or no, than Nate BRIZKEY did. But I don't think they're great. Do you think like D or D plus? I don't think it's C.
I would say a D plus.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too, was D plus.
Yeah.
Running backs, Tony Pollard in the second. I love that. I really was hoping Pollard was gonna come back around. I didn't want to get him here, but I was hoping he was gonna come back. I was hoping to come back around too. I was deciding between Henry and Pollard the whole time. That was my two that I was choosing. Pollard. Miles Sanders, I think, was a little bit of a reach. You just don't know how he's going to fit in that Carolina scheme. But if they can figure out a way to run him and utilize him and with a lot of check down passes and stuff like that, especially in PPR, I think he can be really good. It was something they didn't utilize him a lot in Philly, which I didn't understand. And I think they will in Carolina. So I'm not mad at that. James Cook, I mean, he's the number one in Buffalo now, but Buffalo just doesn't run the ball. Like, he'll have a random game where he'll drop 20, and then he'll have several games where he won't get but like maybe 10 touches.
I was like, he's like 7 points, 3 points, right, 6 points.
And that's how Singletary was, because I drafted Singletary high before, and then I'd have a game where he put up 3, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. AJ Dillon, it's not a bad pick. Again, we're gonna go off this based off they don't get Jonathan Taylor. And we didn't even know the news possible about Jonathan Taylor going there. It's not great. It's not bad. A lot of people get all hyped about AJ Dillon because he's like, they call him like, oh, he's the touchdown guy and everything like that. But he really doesn't put up fantasy points because it's either he gets a touchdown or he doesn't do much of anything because he's a ground and pound guy. He's a guy in your second and threes and your third and ones and third and twos that you're gonna give him the ball. He might break one every now and then, but that's not what his job is. His job isn't for big yardage plays. It's for little dinks and dunks. And then at the end, you get Foreman from Chicago, which I'm not sure if Foreman's the second or the third, if you want to be honest with you.
Chicago, I'll look it up. How you doing?
Don't worry about it. I wouldn't stress. I love Pollard. Not in love with Sanders, but I still think it has value. I hope James Cook plays out. I don't want to give a horrible grade for this running back because I really like Pollard, and like I'm interested to see with Sanders. I think it was a gamble.
Former second string.
Okay, so he's currently second string. Okay, well then that makes a difference. I'm thinking like C plus, just because I'm nervous about Sanders. I'm not mad at the 3 in the bench, but I don't think they're gonna like James Cook may be able to make a difference if they actually use him. But I don't think AJ Dillon's going to make a difference in a week that you need him to play. I don't think Foreman's going to make a difference in a week that you need him to play.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I mean, I agree. And even right now, Foreman is questionable to be playing because he has, I guess, possible chest and rib injuries. So, don't know how that's going to progress for him throughout the season. But I do agree with what you're saying as far as the status of these players.
Yeah. So, what, you think C plus, or you think that's too harsh?
I would say this.
You think C plus or B minus? You give him a C?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, wide receivers. I need you to shock me at wide receivers, and you are. What up, Hoodie? Wide receivers. You got Devontae Smith and Calvin Ridley. Devontae Smith, I really like that pick. I think he's going to get just as much targets as AJ Brown. They're going to be 50-50, but they're both going to get a high volume, so it's not like a 50-50 on some teams. Like he's going to get good looks. Calvin Ridley, this was a pick I really wanted, and I was nervous about getting him just because of you don't know how he's going to be with the new team after a year off, but I think he's going to be good with Trevor Lawrence. He had just became wide receiver 1 in Atlanta, and then had the issue that he had having the suspension happen. So I'm not mad at that.
Do you think this pick is too early though? Do you think it's too early or no?
Because it was available for me at a certain point. and I thought about him, and I was like, I'm not going to grab him unless I see him in this round, which would have been 2 more. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think it's like right in the between. Christian Watson, I like that grab. I know people saying that Dobbs has been the main target during camp and stuff like that, but I don't care. I like the Watson grab. I like the Pittman grab. I mean, someone has to be number 1 wide receiver over there. I love that. I was surprised he dropped so late. I forgot about him. I wish you would have picked up one more wide receiver somewhere in here instead of stopping right there. But you know, because especially since you start 3 wide receivers, you want to have a little more wiggle room. I know you said you worked in some trades, so your team might look a little bit different than what it is now. But based off of this, Devontae Smith, Calvin Ridley, Christian Watson being your top 3, Pittman being your backup. Well, we won't even talk about that. So,
I was looking at that.
I thought that made your team a little bit worse, but I did like the other people that you got. But regardless of the such, based off of this, B minus, just because I really like these 2. I really like the Watson and Pittman. I really like these 2. Ridley, I'm a little question, but I would even say B.
Yeah, I'm good with B.
Defense, Patriots and Commanders. I mean, I don't know. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I skipped over tight ends. Tight ends, we got Travis Kelce, Dawson Knox. I mean, it's kind of the same situation. You just got to give him an A. I mean, Kelce's a wide receiver. Defense, Patriots and Commanders. They're both good defense, but they both play in hard divisions is my thing. They both play in divisions where they score a lot of points. I think it's good. I'm cool with B. I don't want to say A. I'm cool with B though.
I would. Would
you say?
Give him a B plus for. Okay. I would give him a B plus on defense. Cause I do agree that they are in a tougher division and the schedule a little bit tougher, but they are 2 good, solid, really, really solid defenses.
Kicker, we have Aubrey from Dallas. I mean, I don't know. I think it's Aubrey. Is this his first year? I'm assuming this is his first year. Yeah, he's a replacement from Greg Beleg, who had a horrible showing last year, and he would have had a lot of points if he made his kicks. So I don't know much about him, but I don't think he's a bad pick that late because Dallas will put up points and they will kick field goals.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick. I did see him in a few preseason games, and the team definitely ecstatic to have him because he hit some kicks that normally would have been some big time misses for them, and he did really good. So he is an upside, but as far as fantasy, I'm not sure how to evaluate him.
I'll give him a B, but at the end he could be like a B plus, like maybe even A minus type of guy. We'll see. I don't want to knock them because they will have field goal opportunities and will get points. Looking at the overall bench, let's see. We're looking at James Cook, Pittman, Dillon, Wilson, Knox, one of these defenses, and Foreman. I love Pittman. I really like James Cook. I'm not horrible at. Dillon, I really don't know. Russell Wilson's really not a bad backup. You can't really be mad at it. Knox, you can't really be mad at it, even though Kincaid looks like he's going to take that starting role. Backup defense is great. Foreman, I don't know about. I think just right in the middle at C.
Yeah, see, I'm going with C.
All right, and then overall, looking at this, we only got 1 A on here. We got a good bit of B's, but we also got a couple C's and D's. D plus at the quarterback position, C at the running back. I think just straight up C.
C is good. All right. I think that D plus at the quarterback position hurts him a lot.
I think so too, and the running back position too. I think it's going to be weird. Now he did say he made some trades, so we'll see how that works.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Yeah.
All right, Skylar, the time is up. The time is now. You can't see me. Skylar, quarterback.
Is she sleep? Did she fall asleep already?
She might have.
Quarterback. You better call her phone, but she's mad.
Nah, she's here. Yeah, hey, look, Hoodie really is like 8 foot tall. That dude is huge. When I first met him in person, I was like, God damn, bro. I said, why are you so tall? I was like, I can't be seen with you in public. The dude, how tall are you really, Hoodie? You're like what? So you got to be like 6'5", huh? So her quarterbacks are Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins. I know everybody else hates the Derek Carr pick, and this might be something that's biased for both of us because we both like the Derek Carr pick, and I also really like the Kirk Cousins pick as a backup. If it was my grade, and I'm gonna base it off my grade, I really think that it's not phenomenal, but I think it's a B plus.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Running backs, we have Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, Pacheco, and Gus Edwards, and then Kenyon Drake. Najee Harris, I think, was a little early just because he started having some recent injury things. But when he's healthy, he's really good. J.K. Dobbins in the same situation. It's an injury thing. He stays healthy, he's really good. If he's injured, then you're screwed. Pacheco, I think, is phenomenal. I wanted Pacheco. That is a great pick.
Yeah, I wanted Pacheco too.
Gus Edwards is basically gonna be the guy that's gonna hold you down if Dobbins gets hurt. So I'm really not mad at it. It's not like he's gonna be a turning point, but he's gonna at least keep you steady if Dobbins does go down. If Dobbins does go down, you won't ever need to use him, so you'll be fine. Kenyon Drake, I think, doesn't make sense. Like he's a good running back, but nobody uses him. So like he just doesn't give a chance. He's a guy that needs touches in order to be great, and he's not gonna get touches anywhere. Even with JT possibly leaving, he's not gonna get touches. With the injury concerns, I'm thinking like C. I mean, it's just none jumps off the page just because their two main picks are so injury prone. Like I want to say, if they were both healthy, I think this is a B to B plus thing. But because of injury concerns, I'm thinking like B minus and somewhere between C and B minus. What do you think?
Between.
You want to split the difference and go C plus?
I was gonna say like probably a C plus would be ideal.
Wide receivers, went and grabbed Stephon Diggs. I think that's a great pick in the beginning because Stephon Diggs expresses anger about not getting enough touches, so they're going to try and force the ball to him, let him be a playmaker. I bet they run him out on little screen sets and different things like that. I think he's going to rack up fantasy points. DK Metcalf, I thought might have been a little bit early, but he's still their number one. So I'm not mad at it, especially with Nick Jigba being hurt for the first couple weeks. I think Metcalf is going to get his touches. I do really like that. As we go down a little bit, Hollywood Brown, I really don't like that pick. I think a lot of people had him a little bit higher than what I did. I just don't truly love it just because, I mean, we don't even know what's going on with Arizona. And as of this draft, we found out that they were trying to lose. So this concerns me a lot. Adam Lazard pick is something that I don't hate. The Sutton pick is actually a pick that I really like right there. Gallup at the end. Gallup always ends up being on somebody's team, and they just don't utilize them. So, I mean, at the end pick, I'm not even really considering it. I think it's just whatever. So, looking at this, these first two I love. Your third wide receiver is where you're going to have problems finding a spot, but I think they're all the same. I'm thinking like B because the first two are so great.
Yeah, I'm good with that. The B choice. So you might want to tell Kenyon Drake that was with the Colts, right?
Yeah.
He just got waived.
Oh, yeah, waived? All right, well,
he got released.
Scala, there is another running back that's in the waiver wire right now that you should go grab up. Text me and I'll tell you who it is.
Yeah, it'd say he got released.
Yeah, I figured that would happen. Tight end, she's got David Goddard, and that's it. I'm not bad at only grabbing one tight end. I prefer to have two. Goddard is great. If you would have got anybody else that was decent somewhere in there instead of getting like 7 wide receivers like you did, probably would give you an A. But since you only got one, I have to give you a B.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
Defense, we have Cincinnati Bengals, whose defense has been solid, but they did lose some of their cornerbacks during the offseason and one of their safeties, I believe. So I still don't dislike it, but I don't love it. Like I'm kind of at like C plus B minus. What do you think?
C plus.
All right. Kicker. Will Lutz, well, now he's with Denver, and I think his value drops. Well, I don't know, because I don't feel like they're going to score a lot of touchdowns. They might get field goals. but he's coming off that injury and
yeah.
stuff like that too. So it's like, I'm kind of C+ with this too, just because you don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Which, if y'all didn't know, Group is the kicker. So if anybody is looking for a kicker, Group. Dude, you saw him hit that. He attempted a 60-yard in preseason last week, and it was good for 68. He hit it off right, and he made 2 50+ yard field goals as a rookie. Far. Yeah, it's far. Yeah. I wasn't sure how his distance was going to be because he had never kicked anything over a 48, I believe, in college, and he showed he has a leg, so that's exciting. Overall bench, we're looking at Pacheco, Lazard, Cousins, Sutton, Gus Edwards, Kenyon Drake, Gallup. I think these two are irrelevant. That's going to take points away from you. Gus Edwards, to get behind Dobbins if he goes out, I'm not mad at. I really like the Pacheco pick, really like the Cousins pick, really like the Sutton pick. Lazard, indifferent about. If it wasn't for that these two were so bad, I want to say that this would be like a B to B+, but because those two are basically wasted picks, I don't know if I can give anything more than a C+.
Yeah, I'll say C+. The overall grade, F+.
And then, I mean, just a consensus, C+ for the final grade.
Yeah.
All right, we got Hockey Dad. Let me pull this over so y'all can see it. Oh, I gotta adjust this. One second. All right. So Hockey Dad starting off at top. So quarterback. We have Trevor Lawrence, and then we have C.J. Stroud. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to start most of your games. C.J. Stroud might be a surprise guy. I don't think it's an A, but I mean, I think a solid B+ on this.
Yeah, a B+. I'm solid with that one.
All right. What you said, Brisky? You said Scally got a higher grade total than me when I had all B's and B+ bias. Let me look at your team, Brisky. I'll go and break down and tell you maybe I was wrong. Brisky.
That's what I was saying. But you got your quarterback's got a D-. That's what kills your curve.
And you have the same grade as her. She doesn't have a better grade than you. She has the same grade as you. I think that's fair. You got a big D-, and you have a D- in running back. I think it's kind of the same. I mean, if you want to say that we're biased, I promise you I'm not being, because I'm Skylar's worst critic. I'll give her a straight up C if you're cool with that. I'll give her a straight up C, but she never had anything below a C+. That's why I gave her a C+.
You can't have the quarterback.
He said I the quarterbacks. All right. So now Hockey Dad's running backs. We have Jahmyr Gibbs. I love that early round grab of Jahmyr Gibbs. I really do. I think they're going to utilize him the way they should have utilized Swift. Swift just got injured. I think Gibbs is going to be phenomenal in that team. He's literally a better version of Swift. He's going to grab Charbonnet, who I don't know a whole bunch about. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar either.
He's gonna fight for second back, running. I mean, it is a PPR league, so like it might be okay. I'm just not in love with this. Jamal Williams, he's a touchdown guy, but especially since the first 4 weeks, I'd probably start him over Charbonnet. But I think once AK comes back, we won't see Williams as much, except for in the same scheme of things as the Lions, which if it runs that way, then it'll be perfect. But it is a different team, so you don't know how they're going to run things over there in New Orleans, and with grabbing a rookie in Kendre Miller. Then you go and grab Damian Harris in Buffalo, which I don't know where he stands in that lineup, but I'm not mad at it. And then I'm not mad at Singletary at the very back end, because he's going to sit right behind Dameon Pierce. Love the Gibbs pick. Don't love this. I like this. Don't know much about this, and I love this at this late. What do you think about the running backs? I'll let you do it. I'm indecisive.
I mean, even with the choices, like you said, I do think Gibbs will show up big for them with the way if they use him correctly. The Williams pick, it is a touchdown pick. So even in that situation, if the Saints are having some good runs offensively, he could pull in some decent numbers.
Oh yeah. If we take a lead, he's getting all the rushes. He's going to be the same thing that Mark Ingram was. He's going to be the same thing that Deuce McAllister was, where he just ground and pounds, takes time off. So what do you think, B?
I would say a B. Harris is a second string right now, so yeah, I'll say B for sure. The Cabernet dude, I don't know. I don't know much about him.
I don't know either, so I could be off on that too. Wide receivers: Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. I love those back-to-back picks. Smith-Njigba, even though he won't be able to start the first couple weeks, I think it is a great pick. We didn't know about the injury, I don't think, at this point in the draft. If you did, you probably would have picked him a little bit later. Tony's another guy that is dealing with injuries, so your next two wide receivers are both injured. And then you have Reed for Green Bay, which I don't know a whole bunch about. I would assume he's he's number receiver 3. Figures to be at least a number 3 wide receiver when the Packers open this season in Week 1, with potential to move up a spot if Romeo Doubs' hamstring injury lingers. So might not be a bad late pick grabbing him. Love these two. The rest of the 3, you're probably going to have to run a 3 running back team. And I don't think you have a third running back that's a guaranteed start. So I really don't love these wide receivers other than these two. Like it's because I love these two. But we didn't know Smith-Njigba was hurt, so we got to base it. We didn't know he was going to be hurt. So these 3, I'm pretty cool with. The last 2, we know he was hurt, and then we knew Reed was fighting for a third spot.
So that's like a C plus.
C, yeah, I think C. I think I'm really cool. I think I'm cool with C, just because there's no telling. Tony's hurt all the time. He might play 3 games. There's no telling.
That's true.
Tight end. I don't even care. Like we haven't given high grades. You have Waller and Kmet. Now the problem is they both had the same bye week. Because I was about to go A, but I'm going B now because they do have the same exact bye week. So you played both of them. You're going to pick and play them, but you're going to have someone fill in for the bye week. But I think Waller's going to do great with New York. And then Kmet's going to get touches like he just is.
Yeah.
Defense, 49ers. Yeah, A. Kicker, I always forget how to pronounce his name. Young Ho Koo.
Yeah. He did pretty good last year, so I think this year he's still a solid pick.
Yeah,
so a B. I think a B will be a decent score.
And then bench is where the problems come in, because after you look at your technically your 2 supposed to be starting running backs, your Jamal Williams, Damon Harris, Singletary, you don't have no idea how they are going to be. Jamal Williams will probably start the first 4 weeks, but still, there's questions. Wide receivers hurt, fighting for a spot. Don't like it. Kmet, I love. Stroud, I'm cool with. Singletary, I'm okay with. D plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say C, but D, I can agree with that one.
It's just because there's so many injuries. I mean, like, because right now, if you're starting, even if Njigba is healthy, your backup running back, you could decide between either of these two, and not because they're both equally good, just because they're both equally you don't know. These guys, you have no idea how they're going to be intertwined into the offense. This, you have no idea how he's going to be intertwined into the offense. I just don't. I think there was definitely some better options. Overall, so you got B plus quarterback, B running back, C wide receiver, D plus bench. He has the C plus again. I mean, I don't think it's horrible. I don't know. Or he has the 1D, the 1C, B minus, C plus, D minus. I don't know. What do you think?
You said D minus or B as in boy?
B minus or C plus? No, I don't think it's D minus.
Okay.
I just think there's so many questions. I feel like there's so many questions, like of just everywhere. Like other than once you get past these here, in that, there's questions.
We can't see your mouse, so when you say here.
I'm sorry. Once you get past your Hill, Wilson, Gibbs, Lawrence, Waller. Okay. If we assume Najigba was healthy, and then 49ers, once we get past here, I think all of this is a question mark, except for a backup tight end. That doesn't matter because like it's just a tight end. I think everything else is a question mark.
C+ then. Yeah.
B-. I think his is more overall better, and that injuries won't matter until they're healed or better. But thing is, people are already injured. That's the problem. He's already going to have trouble fighting starters, I think. All right, we'll go over into my team.
Would be saying there was some so stupid.
Throw them D's on hoodie. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I'm trying not to be. I'm not trying to be too harsh. I don't think it's a bad team because I really do love his first. Really up to the 49ers, not knowing that Najigba was hurt, was like phenomenal. His first 7 picks is like because whenever he was picking before me for most of the time, and I'm just sitting here like, you bastard. And then everything opened up for me, and I was like, wait, what has changed? And now that I'm looking back, that is something that changed. All right, so we'll look at my quarterback. So I got Joe Burrow. I'll let you run it, but and I'll give my points. So I got Joe Burrow and Tua. We don't know if Burrow is going to play week 1, but he has started practicing, but we don't know. We'll assume that he won't play till week 3 because that's what we thought.
You can't really take in consideration what the coach is saying because the coach they want to sell the pitch until the 10 minutes before game starts because you don't have to give your true injury report until a few minutes before the game anyway. So I would say, and also with Tua, like you said, the potential for another concussion is definitely high with him the way he plays.
I just need him to stay healthy until Burrow's healthy.
Yeah,
but yeah, get me great.
I would honestly, with the calf injury situation and Tua, I'd probably say B- C.
I'm gonna give myself a B- because I think you're underappreciating my quarterbacks. But the only reason why I don't think it's a C is because Tua puts up fantasy points, and when Burrow's healthy, he puts up fantasy points. Now, if I have trouble the first couple of weeks, Tua's gonna play. So, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to hold me down. And once Burrow's back, and if he stays healthy, he's going to be great. But if he ends up being injury prone because of that calf, then I will be in some trouble there. I will definitely be in some trouble there. All right, running backs. I have Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, who has a 3-game suspension. And then at the end, I went and grabbed Rasheed Mostert.
I think you have actually a solid running back room. So even with the suspension of Kamara, I'd still give you a B, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Henry and Swift are going to hold it down, and then once Kamara gets back, I mean, I'm playing for week 3. I mean, it's kind of really what I'm doing or week 4 technically. I'm playing for week 4. If I can go 1-2 or 2-1 in the first 3 weeks. Then y'all better watch the hell out. That's what I'm telling y'all. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk, Dotson, Jameson Williams, and then Dobbs are my receivers. I'm not gonna lie, I love my wide receivers, and if you I'm not even trying to put the pressure on you. If you give me anything less than an A on my wide receivers, then screw you, non. I'm never talking to you again, bro. like these wide. Now, granted, health of Keenan Allen may be an issue, but where I got Dotson, where I got Kirk, I don't even care because I'll just switch in one of them for the other.
That's my only question mark for your wide receiver room is the health of Keenan Allen. Because as soon as I see Keenan Allen, I think injury. I just automatically think injury because he always gets injured. But I mean, more likely he doesn't get injured until week 7, between 7 and 10. So I think you have a good solid room. I'd give you A on that one. I'll
take my A. Tight ends, I have Juwan Johnson, and then I grabbed Irv Smith. Cincinnati's been going through running tight ends like crazy. I don't know if they just don't care or if they just are like, yeah, we'll just bring in a new one each time. That way we don't have to sign them into a new contract because they did it 3 years in a row now with I forget the first guy, and then Hurst last year, and then now Irv Smith. What would you grade my tight ends?
I mean, Irv Smith, I don't really know much about, to be honest with you. And then when it comes to Juwan Johnson, I'm really high on Juwan Johnson. But I'm high off his potential, and we that's the only thing we can go off of, because last season they didn't realize. Dalton didn't realize he had a tight end that could actually catch the ball until week 7 or week 8. So, just as an honest one, I'd give you a C, just because.
I was thinking C+, C+. So I'm cool with that. Defense. I'll be completely honest with you. I went New Orleans Saints just because I was like, screw you guys, I'm just going to grab them, because I already know I'm going to switch defenses out every single week. So I really don't care what grade you give me for this.
Even though I think their defense is actually pretty solid, so I give you a B on defense. B minus. I would give you a B.
Kicker, I went ahead and grabbed Tyler Bass. I've gotten Tyler Bass in just about at least in one league every single year the last 3 years. I really have. He's just been so consistent with me, so I'm just like, I'm just not gonna let him go. I'm just gonna use him.
Tyler Bass is consistent, and I mean, you said it right there, so that's an A for me. I like Tyler Bass.
And then overall bench, let's see. So starters here. So bench, we're looking at Kamara, Dotson, Tua, Jameson Williams, Dobbs, Mostert, Irv Smith. My opinion of it is, I think this, right once he's healthy, or right once he gets unsuspended, this is going to be great. I think I can flip him in with any of those wide receivers in there. He's going to, I'm sorry, Alvin Kamara. I think it's going to be, right once he's done with that suspension, I said he's going to be great. He'll end up being a starter, or I might swap him out with Swift, depending on the matchup. Dotson, I think, is a guy that I can switch with Christian Kirk at any moment, depending on the who they're playing against. Tua, well, I guess Burrow technically would be my backup possibly, but like I still think they're kind of like okay. Jameson Williams was a reach. I just really like Jameson Williams. I hope he does good. I know BRIZKEY and all them were telling me that they think he's going to be trash, so maybe he will, and maybe that might be a bust, and it's very possible that it will be. Dobbs, I think he's going to be a solid number 2. He does have a hamstring issue, which I didn't know about until like just a couple minutes ago, so we'll see how that works out. Mostert was kind of like a shot in the dark. If he ends up being the number 1, I think he'll be fine. But if they grab JT, then he becomes irrelevant. And then Irv Smith, I really didn't know what to think about him. I know Irv Smith was very athletic coming out of college. He was a guy they didn't utilize very great with the Vikings, and I was hoping Cincinnati might.
Wait, is Williams suspended too?
Yeah, I don't know what his suspension is. Oh, he's for gambling. I think it's for like 3 or 4 weeks. But I'm not worried about that, because I'm not going to use him until one of my receivers have a bye week.
Okay, and I was looking at that. I was like, he got the same red S as Kamara. So what is he suspended? Okay, so just go off the defensive list as I'm looking here. Tua, Mostert, Kamara, Dotson, Dobbs, Williams, Smith. Like I said, Smith I'm not familiar with. Williams I'm not really familiar with. Dobbs, Dotson, Kamara, Mostert, and Tua. Even though Mostert, it just like you said, it just depends on how he's utilized and if he really steps up to the occasion. So I honestly do like your bench. Tua will probably be your starter more than likely in the beginning if the injury is there.
Probably so.
So, and then like I said, Kamara, the injury. I think because there's 3 question marks for me in your bench.
Yeah.
So I'd give you a C.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking C too. I really wasn't in love with Mostert. I actually like the Irv Smith at the end just to have a second tight end, so I'm not mad at that as a Hail Mary pick.
You said Damo suspended 6 games?
Yeah. I knew he was suspended a certain amount. I just didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was 3 or 6. I kept getting him and Kamara confused, but I think I was thinking C just because there's doubts with Williams, doubts with Mostert. I have no doubts with Tua. I have no doubts with Dotson. I have no doubts with Kamara. But I could see where you could see the same thing. So overall grade,
Chad, what do we think, Chad?
Yeah. Tell me what y'all think.
Chad, in honesty, not like trolling, but honestly, what do you think of his overall grade? We got B- at quarterback, B at running back, A at wide receiver. We got C at tight end, B at defense, A at kicker, and C at bench. What is consensus or thought at Zach's overall score for his team? Nate Brisky said a C plus. I can kind of see that.
C plus.
Yeah.
I think Nate Brisky is just trying to give me a C plus because I gave him one. Nate Brisky, I got 2 A's in here. You out your damn box, but I'll give myself a C plus if that's what you think.
Nate says B. He said he changed his mind, gave you a B.
B. Okay, that's more of what I was thinking. That's more what I was thinking. And I'll tell you what like my grade that I thought regular B at quarterback, running back I was completely fine with the B. I liked A here. Tight end, I'm high on Juwan, but I do see C. Defense, honestly, I'm surprised you rated me that high, so I'm cool with B there. Kicker, I'm cool. I liked A, and bench, honestly, just because the strategy that I have in my head, I had this more of like a C plus B minus is where I had my thoughts whenever I went over it yesterday. But I respect the B. I respect the B. Respect the B. All right, let me drag this over a little bit so I can get everybody in for the last couple, because we're right at the end here. We have just the last 3 teams. Next up, we got Mozzie. My docs. Mozzie at quarterback. Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones. Lamar Jackson healthy is going to be a top fantasy quarterback in the league, more than likely. Daniel Jones, I don't think he's a bad substitution. It just depends on who he plays, when he plays. Now, they do have the same bye week, which is going to be somewhere you're not going to start Daniel Jones over Lamar, and if Lamar gets hurt, you're not going to want to play Daniel Jones for the majority of the season, so he's going to have to work something out. For that reason, I'm thinking like B minus, possibly B.
Yeah, I can go with a. I'll say a B minus. I'll say a B minus.
Like Daniel Jones, but fantasy wise, he doesn't put up a whole lot. He might go around scrambling and do all kind of stuff, but his stats are always going to be mediocre. Running back, he has Joe Mixon. A lot of people were hating on Joe Mixon. I don't know why. I know he had like a little.
Joe Mixon did great for me last season.
Yeah, he did great for you last year. I know he had a couple injuries, but I'm gonna assume he's gonna get through that. I don't think it was anything like crazy that's gonna keep him out for a long time.
Yeah.
And now without Pirine, he's that main guy back there, and I think that's a good pick. James Conner was one that I didn't really love just because of it being with the Cardinals. I have concerns with that. Oh wait, that's how I get my mouse on there. I had to click on it. Okay. But I didn't love the James Conner pick as much as I actually like James Conner himself.
Yeah. So also got Gibson from Washington. I actually do like Gibson. Gibson's not a bad pickup. Gainwell did pretty decent last year with Philly. Yeah, go ahead.
No, keep going. Yeah. You said.
No, just going over Gainwell with Philadelphia is one of the options. Gibson from Washington. I think actual 2 solid pickups as well.
I think Gainwell at the end is a good pickup because I think he could overtake and end up taking that second spot over Rashad Penny if he doesn't stay healthy. Gainwell is that obvious number 2. And him and Swift are also interchangeable. So if they start finding that Swift, because they're the same style of player, Swift isn't fitting in their scheme, and Gainwell's been there for a while, that he will do it. He was supposed to be the guy that did replace Miles Sanders in years before. Mm-hmm. So I do like that really late pick. Gibson, he just doesn't get the touches that he should. Like he just doesn't. I don't know why. They always plan out things for it to be directed towards him, and they don't. And then James Conner, just because I think it's a losing team, I don't think he gets the touches that he should. Like, I love Joe Mixon, and I feel like I feel like he dropped the ball with Conner and Gibson because Conner's not going to get the ball a whole lot because they're going to be down a lot. They're going to try and pass, I would assume. And Gibson just doesn't get the touches he deserves. And Brian Robinson coming into his first full year is going to be the overall number 1. Gainwell is a shot in the dark, who I think could be good as a late round pick, but as far as starting, you don't know yet until you see it. Running backs, I'm not really high on Mozzie's running backs. What do you grade?
Yeah, let's see.
Cool to see. Wide receivers, we got A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuels, Lockett, Mike Evans, and Thielen. And then, I don't even know, this is Rashee Rice. I'm assuming he ended preseason poorly, apparently.
Rashee Rice, yeah.
Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
But he's in that depth chart. He's out, it shows him as a wide receiver 1 possibility. But he did end the preseason poorly. So, I mean, that, again, another shot in the dark. But if he turns out to be the WR1, then, man, that might have been the best pick of the draft. I honestly like this wide receiver room. I like A.J. Brown. I like Deebo.
Yeah.
I like Lockett. I like Evans. I like Thielen. I really like this. I think I'd put an A here. I'd argue that I don't think it's as good as mine, you know. But I think it's right. I think it's right underneath mine so far out of the wide receivers we looked at.
Yeah, I definitely give him A. Like I said, that Rashee Rice one, it can turn out to be much bigger than what people think. With the Kadarius Toney and Scantling having their issues right now, it could be different.
Njoku and Fant for his tight ends. Yeah, I know you love the Njoku pick, and I'm not mad at either. I just hope they use him because he's so good, and they just decide games that they decide to game plan for him. I think they should game plan for this kid. I think he's really good. And then Noah Fant, I mean, he's a vet. He's been there. He's been doing it for a while. You know what you're going to get out of him. It'll be a couple points a game. He's a guy that floats it on and off waivers as a second tight end. I'm not mad at that, having him here now. What do you think of the tight ends?
When they had Brissett looked for him, looked for Njoku. So I just don't know as far as when it comes to,
Deshaun,
if they're going to do the same thing, if he's going to do the same thing, or is he just looking for Amari Cooper to get the big numbers? But utilization, Njoku is an athletic beast. He is nice.
I'm thinking either C+ or B-.
Because I do think both are solid, really, really solid. I can say a B-. I can agree with the B-.
Yeah. Defense, he went ahead and grabbed. Where's his defense? Did he grab a defense? Jets defense. He has Jets defense.
Oh yeah, he does.
I mean, C+, B-. I mean, we don't really know. I like the Jets defense. I mean, I had him really high up on mine. I don't know. I say B. B-.
Solid B. Straight up B.
Yeah, straight up B. Kicker, Moody for San Fran. The thing is with San Fran is that they win games, but they don't win them by a lot, and so there's not a whole lot of points being scored. Now, they will kick field goals, but it's like, I don't, he might have a couple games where he goes over 10, but I think most times he's going to sit around that like 7 points ish. You know what I mean? Which is solid for a kicker, but I think it's just right in the middle of C,
Yeah.
And then overall bench, we're looking at Mike Evans, Gibson, Jones, Thielen, Fant, Rice, and Gainwell. Mike Evans on your bench is really good. Gibson, like I said, I have concerns with both of them. I really don't love any of these running backs. Dan Jones, cool on the bench. If Lamar stays healthy, I mean, it's cool. You got to sub him in for a game, that's fine. Thielen, I like. Fant, I like. Rice can be really good. This is actually one where, like, I almost want to grade the bench a little bit better than, like, even some of the overalls of it. Like I kind of see it at like a B. Like, it could be really good, but it also could be questionable. I mean, what do you think? You think like B?
Yeah.
You think it's C plus? Like, what do you think?
I'm thinking of B for the bench.
Yeah, B for the bench. All right. Overall, taking a look at this. I mean, y'all assholes gave me a fucking B. I don't. Excuse my language. I mean, it looks like a solid B team off of this stuff. I think the thing that mainly concerns me is just like the running backs,
Yeah.
So I mean, like B minus. Like, I'm cool with giving Ozzy a B.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
B minus. I'm good with either one.
All right, last two. BRIZK quarterback, Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to jump and just say A, but like you could literally play either of these two, and if Fields ends up playing out, then great. And if he doesn't, then you still have Aaron Rodgers who's going to be consistently giving you the same numbers every time. Like I think it's what B plus.
B plus.
Running backs, Jonathan Taylor still trying to figure out where he's going to end up. It was a risk. I think it's a good risk, but it's a risk, and you got to take that into consideration. Kenneth Walker, is he still injured, or is he cool now? Listed as starter. Okay, so
he played to start.
He did start with has a little bit of a groin injury. If he stays healthy, it's a really good pickup. Those two running backs are really great. McKinnon, I mean, I'm not excited about McKinnon at all. Jay Warren, if something goes wrong with Najee, then Warren could be something that's a good depth piece. He could be a nice sleeper. I definitely like his potential over McKinnon's potential. But overall, I think his first running back, I think he has a lot of question marks at running back, and that's where I get concerned, because you don't know if JT plays.
Yeah. And then McKinnon, to pick McKinnon over Pacheco is
and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still there too. Like he's still gonna get touches even though he's not.
Oh yeah, this was the auto pick.
Oh yeah, this was the auto pick. That's right.
So I mean,
I really don't like the running backs.
No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of it either.
D.
What do you want to do?
D. It's just too many questions. Yeah, and this is the auto pick, like you said. So we got Kupp, McLaurin, Judy, Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore, Boyd. I like the Kupp pick, even though we got to see how all that plays out. I still like the Kupp pick. I like the McLaurin pick. I still think he's number one, but I think Dotson and him are going to compete for touches. Judy is officially injured, but that came after the draft. It's not a bad pick. I think it's a good pick.
Still got bricks for hands.
Brandon Cooks, I don't know where he's going to fit in this Dallas team, if you want to be honest with you. I think Brandon Cooks should.
I mean, there's already too many plates for Dak to fill with this offensive team, so I don't even know if he gets as much play time as people think.
And then Elijah Moore second behind Amari Cooper, and then Tyler Boyd in that third spot, which Boyd at that part is really good. Elijah Moore at that spot is actually really nice too. Don't trust Cooks. Don't trust Judy. I don't know. C.
So yeah.
C. None that jumps at me. None that jumps at me, because even Kupp, you just don't know. Like, I still think he will be okay, but he could also be a bust again. Tight end Mark Andrews and Dalton Schultz. I mean,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I like A for that, to be honest. Yeah. Defense, Ravens. Their secondary is in question a little bit right now, especially in their corners. But it's still Ravens defense. I mean, Ravens have always been coached really well. It really doesn't matter who's there. Their defense has always been coached really well. So, I mean, what do you think? Like C plus B?
I'll be good with a B, since we destroyed them on the running backs.
On the other ones, yeah. Kicker, Justin Tucker, A.
Oh, Justin Tucker, A.
Yeah, and then bench, you're looking at Cooks, Rodgers, Schultz, Elijah Moore, McKinnon, Warren, Boyd. We look at the wide receivers. I'm not mad at Judy or Boyd as backup wide receivers. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Judy's not even in there. Cooks, Moore, and Boyd. I'm not mad at Moore and Boyd at backup. Cooks I have question about, but I mean, someone had to grab him. Rodgers, good backup. Schultz, good backup. McKinnon, don't like it. Warren, we'll see. I think C again.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, overall, he has a couple A's. It's just he has A at tight end and A at kicker. D at running back and C at wide receiver is where it's going to hurt the most. And
C at bench.
Right, and C at bench. It's like I almost want to go like C minus here.
I mean, I don't know.
I could even say a straight C, but I can't see anything above a C. He's gonna have to do some work on waivers and everything. You're thinking lower?
I was thinking a D plus.
I mean, I was trying not to be mean, but I mean, I could see a D plus too. It's just it's an AI generated thing. This is one of the rare times where the AI generated draft actually wasn't that great, because they take into effect predictions based off of a magazine or whatever thing is, and not off of actually how the team is based off of.
And I'm saying the reason why I say D+ is because if I give you a C+ or you a B, and I give Nate a C or a B because of y'all drafts, I can't give him a C.
Yeah, it's not in it. Yeah, it's not in the same category.
So it has to be. I have to go with you on that one. And that's not even personal.
No, it's not personal. It's not personal.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we're gonna have Granite Mountaineer, Big Nate. Nate went ahead and went with a quarterback late option, went back to back Watson and Prescott. It's not a exciting pick, but it's like, you're gonna get what you get. They are in that top 5 that 5 to 15 mark where they're gonna give you 15 points a game. Every once in a while they'll break out and give you a 20, 25, something like that. I'm cool with just straight up B here.
Yeah.
Running backs, Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall, Rachaad White, P. Ryan. If Javonte Williams get hurt, this P. Ryan, it might be a steal of the draft. If Javonte Williams get hurt, P. Ryan's going to be the steal of the draft. Barkley, you know what you're going to get. I love it. Ramondre Stevenson, I wasn't big on it just because I don't like getting Patriots wide receivers. So I'm really not huge on this one. The Breece Hall pick, even with, running backs. And Breece Hall pick, I do like, even though he'll be competing time with Dalvin Cook. I still think he's going to get majority of the touches. I don't believe in this Rachaad White pick, but I've watched a bunch of things of why Nate thought about this pick, and I still don't agree, but this is, again, one of those things I could be really wrong. Okay, so really like Barkley. I'm in between with Stevenson. Really like this. In between with that. Really like this. What do you think?
I was still thinking of B, to be honest with you.
I was thinking B, C+. Can we do a screenshot of all of them? Yeah, I can. Yeah, we can put them all up there. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams, and then Myers. Love the Amon-Ra St. Brown pick. I wasn't even thinking about Cooper, but realistically, it is a good pick. I mean, he's the obvious number one. Hopkins, again, is the obvious number one that you get later on. Mike Williams is the obvious number 2. I really like his wide receivers. And then Myers is a steal at the end with Las Vegas. I mean, I'm thinking A with his wide receivers.
A, yeah.
Yeah. Tight ends, he's going to go Kincaid and Dulcich. I know Dulcich showed things that we really liked last year, but I just still don't know if they're going to utilize them. Now, under Sean Payton, he does like to use his tight ends, but he did go and grab the tight end from the Saints that I know he likes a lot. And I feel like Sean's going to show favoritism towards, even though I think Dulcich is probably the better tight end than what Adam Trautman is. And then the Kincaid pick, if they use him like they used Dawson Knox last year for the games that they actually used him, he's going to be a great tight end pick. But overall, I'm thinking I don't know. It's no jump at your face. It's kind of like a C. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
I do agree. If Denver look at film and realize what they missed out on, because there were so many games how many games they have on live TV that we did?
Right.
8 games?
we all were looking at the film.
And that's the reason why Dulcich was actually on my tight ends list, because the kid is so actually good at being open and running routes. The defenders weren't even paying attention to him. He just wasn't getting the ball.
Yep. So defense, Denver Broncos, they got him at the late pick. I know you don't like the Broncos, but as the last pick is a thing. I mean, C plus is what I'm thinking. It's not a bad pick, but it's not. It's better because it was the last pick, and it just doesn't matter. He just needs someone to start. I mean, you could even argue that it might be B just because it's the last pick, but we'll go C plus.
I mean, the B, I wouldn't be mad at it because of where he got it. Because of where he got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got it so late in the draft.
I agree. Kicker, he got Elliott from Philadelphia. Now, the thing with Elliott in Philadelphia is that they do like to go for it on 4th down a lot. If they're inside of field, what is considered field goal range, and they're in a 4th and 3, sometimes even a 4th and 4 situation, they're going for it. That's my concern with him. Now they will put up points, but like I'm thinking like either C plus or B, just because of the reason that he probably won't kick a whole lot. What do you think?
I mean, I do agree. It's kind of in between, and I'm just thinking on the what round did he get him in?
Second to last.
I'd give him a B because it's a solid kicker, and it is based off his play C plus, but based off positioning, give him a B.
Yeah. And then looking at the bench, okay, so starters. So we're looking at bench wise, Breece Hall, right? Yeah, Breece Hall, Mike Williams, Rachaad White, Prescott, Pirine, Dulcich, Myers, Elliott. This is a pretty solid bench.
Yeah,
I would say I love Breece Hall there. I love Mike Williams as the backup. It's not nothing exciting. I think that's where I think Mike Williams and White are the ones that I like the least, and that actually says a lot for how deep this bench is.
Yeah.
Are we looking at a high B or possible A? What are you thinking?
I honestly can be okay with an A.
That's what I'm saying. I'm really looking at A. Damn, Nate. Yeah. Nate reads too many has too many damn websites that he uses off of, bro. He has he probably spends $50 a month on apps and different stuff like that to help make sure he has the right pick. But this is a
what up,
good
East
draft.
Coast Gridiron?
And that 12 pick is always great. What's up, ECG?
Yeah.
Hey, ECG, don't y'all have y'all draft this weekend, man? Hope y'all have a good one. What time is it? I would definitely like to come and watch and check it out. But overall,
he got two A's in the group.
That's saying the only C he got is at his tight end, and an A bench means a lot because that means you have flexibility. I'm thinking either B plus or an A.
I'm thinking an A minus.
A minus? I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. All right, I'm gonna go. I have to pee super quick, and then I'll go ahead and pull all this up onto screen so you can take a screenshot if you like, and then we'll close the show. Be right back.
Yep. But no, what's good, ECG, man? If you guys haven't already, please go and support ECG. Great content. He said F minus low. Great content, great creators, good personalities, good knowledge of them. I know you guys here because we're so deep in knowledge. No, but seriously, those guys over there, if you really want top tier, I mean, super duper S tier information when it comes to not only professional sports, but the college ranks, that's the channel you should be subscribed to. So Friday at 7:30 p.m. I think we have our second one at 8 on 8. I think we have our second draft. I think it's at 8 on Friday. And then we have another one on Monday. Yeah, we did one last Friday. And we have one this Friday. Said, do you have any open spots or is it full? Yeah, let them know, ECG. If you got some open spots, you can drop your link if you want to, if you have spots. But again, definitely subscribe to ECG, show them some freaking love. Like I said, if you really want some really good, and I say content, but that's a misnomer. If you want some really good information when it comes to sports knowledge on the college level as well as pros, please give them a subscription.
Big facts.
It's all love, baby. So they're doing a 20-man league.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
you got your mind, bro?
Full. That's crazy.
That doesn't even sound like. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. That doesn't even sound like fun to me.
I don't think I've never seen a 20-man league. Most I've seen is 12. That's the most I've ever seen. I've never seen a 20. That's wild.
I've seen 16 team leagues and stuff like that, but 20 is nuts. Yeah, I mean you're probably gonna have dudes that don't even put up points.
That's crazy. What ECG? What what app or website you guys are using for your fantasy.
So unfortunate the way that it ended, because she technically won the game, but because of the DeMar Hamlin thing, they canceled her stats for her tight end, which was the Bengals tight end, that put her over the top. So we decided to just extend it into the next week and then rewrite up the score and like self count it, and then she ended up losing. It was a tough one. She was pissed.
She lost by like 2 points.
It
was something bad. She barely lost. Oh, you guys use Sleeper too? Okay, cool. So we have a 10-man, just the main ECG guys. That's what's up. He said, yeah, we use Sleeper. So that's what I was telling them. You better be good and no players. This draft compared to last year is definitely much better. I would say
much better.
Overall.
Much better, yeah.
So
yeah, a lot more attentiveness and stuff like that. I mean, it never goes without flaws, just because of it is the internet, and we have people from not just all over the United States, but all over the damn world. Yeah, so it like makes scheduling and stuff difficult.
I'm gonna do a screenshot of it as well.
Yeah, I'm pulling up all the I'm writing it all down right now, and then I'll pull it up on the big screen. Try to make it fit as best as possible. I didn't think about doing this overall. I'll have this better plan for next time, guys.
So I told them if people give up, then we will never allow them to be in the league again. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. We had that problem last year because last year we did it, and we had really just started up the channel, so we didn't have a bunch of I guess dedicated football fans and followers that way. So we had a lot of guys and people that were just supporters of us, that were friends of ours that the heck? Oh, okay. I don't know, something was being weird. And so they really didn't give a damn or never had done fantasy before and stuff like that. So we had some problems. This year was definitely a lot better. And hopefully it gets even better the next couple.
Oh, yeah.
Probably should have done this the other way now that I'm thinking about it. I am. Okay. I knew there was a better way to pull this out, and then I didn't do it that way. So just give me a second, guys. I'm almost done.
And then you guys' ECG, you guys' rant videos, if you could take the best parts of those and make them the shorts, they should do well. Nate says, also, I've been thinking, and I know y'all already went over my draft, but didn't Brock Purdy win 10 games in a row or something? He's 23, and I thought he was supposed to explode this season for San Francisco.
It don't matter what his record is how he performs in fantasy. Even in those games that he had in fantasy, he didn't put up a whole lot of points.
Yeah. Yeah, and I say that ECD because when I look at, I follow a lot of different random people and some are sports people, and they take a lot of their rant videos and they cut them up the best they can into a short.
Shoot, sometimes they'll turn it into multiple shorts.
Yeah, and they tell the story, but also they do really well on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Especially you guys got a lot of different personalities. It can work if you do it the right way. A 7-game win streak. Oh, wait, this last thing. Oh, so what I did is I put their players in free agency, and people just pick them up as they please according to waiver priority. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Penalty would have played 2 fantasy games. Oh, are that referring to Purdy? Okay, so Josiah wants to trade Bryce Young for Brock Purdy, 1-for-1. What do y'all think? That one with I don't know, man. Bryce Young, I think
it's just such an irrelevant trade. You know what I mean? Like there's no true, like when you're talking about like making trades, and your guys, if y'all want to go ahead and take a
it has to show some kind of, it has to be valuable, value.
Yeah, there has to be some type of value to it. You know, if you don't want to just trade, you don't want to just make a trade that goes that just goes what and what. You know, you gotta show that there's either a value given to them or a value given to you, you know, preferably both. So like if you're lacking wide receivers, then you might give up your second running back because your third running back is still decent to go ahead and grab somebody else's second wide receiver because you're lacking in wide receivers so much. Like you got to make the value go that way. If you're just going what and what because they're the same exact person, there's no point. It's a guessing game at that point. You got to like trade definite value for other definite value, and then you weigh your options. But I mean, you gotta look at your team, Dave. I mean, you make the decision. Like, I mean, we can give you some advice and ask. I think that's a what and what trade. But if you rate Bryce Young over Purdy, then you know, go ahead and grab him. If you don't, then don't.
Yeah.
I know for me, when it comes to trading, I try not to do anything like it has to really favor me, and like it has to fit what I'm thinking of. Like, so like I try to look weeks ahead of schedule and like where this is going to benefit me and at what point is it going to benefit me. Or there might just be a player that I just really like and I just really want him on my team, and then I just go and get him. You know?
Yeah, that's true too. You said, do you guys look at schedules? I actually I do, yeah.
Every week.
Brock Purdy. I know. It's funny because I think you had talked about it, and I was like, yeah, no, he's not going to do that. Yoink.
ECG said, I try to put out a variety, but I do the video editing, graphics, and everything while working 10 hours a day. Live, I could get someone to help. That would be better. ECG, trust me, bro. We understand that.
We wish we had a graphics person or an editor that can just help edit stuff. It would help on so many different levels for us.
I mean, like, because, you know, we've been not reached out to, but we've talked to other people that are like within our community of like YouTubers that like want to do different events and do different like scheduled podcasts with us and join them, they join us, and different things like that. It's like our schedule is like so set in stone, because if we maneuver away from it, then we're gonna lose everything. Like we have every day what we try to do and get done, and then if we have free time, we can't schedule it. It just has to be there. So like we get invited to go join, you know, Hoodie or Dolph or, you know, anybody, or if, you know, you invited us or anything like that, like it'd have to be like, oh no, I actually am free today. Like you try to be like, hey, are you gonna be free 3 weeks from now? I have no idea, bro. I gotta look. Do I have a test coming up? Do I have this coming up? It's just too damn much, man.
And even with me, it's like, even though like employment is my issue right now, but because I'm helping with family stuff, sometimes I'm just not home, or I'm on my way home. Yeah, I could be there. I might be like 25 minutes late, but I'll be there. I'll be there.
Well, and that's a good thing with us too, because we're like, we don't want to stay up later, but if we have to, we will. I mean, because we're, you know, working on our own channel, working on grinding. I mean, I'll tell y'all this much: those of y'all that are here, you know, we definitely have some things that we're planning on doing to really help this channel expand past what we've already done. You know, like you know, we are starting this podcast, which is on Wednesday. Today we just kind of did some BS things, but we are gonna have some actually like written out, like not fully scripted, but like broken down topics that we want we want to talk on that we really won't talk to chat much. It's just going to be giving out information to you guys. We are planning on joining up with Dolph 17 and the Keeping It Real Who Dat podcast with their new channel as the NFL turns. We're going to try and do that every now and then with them on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time, U.S. Central Time, and talk about the games on Sunday. So there are a lot of things that we're working on, as well as some IRL videos that we eventually want to get to doing. We have Super Bowl's coming to New Orleans next year, so that's something that I'm going to try and be very active of getting out there during Super Bowl week, depending on where our growth of our channel is, like might be able to get some interviews and stuff like that, working with some different guys. Like there's a lot of things
that we honestly need to talk to you about trying to figure out how we can get actual passes for stuff. To do some photography, possibly some interviews, or even like fan interviews. That we talked to you about that.
Even if it's just being in the building, like even if it's just being in the building is really what matters.
I would love to do that. And then of course, next to that, those who know, I do a whole different style of content. So it's not just sports for me. I do movie stuff, comic book stuff, and there's 3 different podcasts that I'm trying to get on throughout different weeks. So because it's a group, I've never been able to like really be in a group of of the blurred or the black nerd or the geek, and so now that I'm older and I'm experiencing this new world, trying to get more exposure over there. So I definitely definitely be in other stuff over there as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've always said, like, this is something that we're hoping to grow together, but we all have different passions outside of the things, like I would never just like we normally record on Sundays and do editing and video recording. He had an opportunity. It's like, no, dude, don't even worry about that stuff. Either I'll do it myself or do it together. We just all grow on this one, man. Nate said, graphics, like what? I do graphic designing. Laugh aloud. I mean, you could message us, Nate. I mean, a lot of this stuff, we're definitely like, we're still trying to find our like identity of like how we want things to look a certain way, and we want it to represent us instead of just like going off to other people to then make something for us. Like we want to like have that connection with what type of graphic we put out, whether it's simple as the thumbnail, but we have a certain look that we want to have, whether it's a logo. Because I have friends that do graphic design too that have offered to help, and it's like no, we'd like to help, but we want to figure it out on our own first, because we want to have a special connection to it. We don't want to just pay somebody and be like, or just be like, oh yeah, just make us something, and be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like we want to have a connection with it. That's the hard thing.
But I mean, even and he's 100% right, because I'm so old school. That's me 100%. Where I'm like, I don't mind you helping, but at the same time, I need my hands got to be on it. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, okay, let me do this first, and then I'll give it to you, and you can finish it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can do the final touches to make it perfect, but like, let me get the base model. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's all.
Even still with that, Nate, if there's some graphics that you have done, send us some stuff so we can see.
Yeah, because I mean, I know we will be looking for new emotes and stuff like that very soon, and that's something that we don't like. We're not trying to dip our hands into. If you've ever done emotes or know how to make like emotes for channels, like we have these here. Y'all can't use them yet, but we're about to bring our channel memberships back, hopefully within the next week or two. But these are some of the emotes that we already have for our channel, and we do plan on getting some more and cycling in some and different things like that. That's definitely something that we could use some help with. ECG said it works. I've had my own graphic design business, been a graphic artist for 15 years, so it works out nice. Yeah, dude, at ECG, we were talking about this yesterday. We actually like look at some of your stuff and like take little bits and pieces and like, oh, we kind of like this aspect of it. We're like, how can we make this our own? We gather inspiration from how you do your stuff. We really like that professional look that you give.
Yeah, because your design, it's funny. So the design idea I had in mind, I found a podcast that has something similar to what I was looking for, and then when we met you guys, I seen your display set up, and I was like, oh well, these two are exactly what I was looking for. This is when I was trying to explain, because sometimes it's hard to me visually to explain it to Zach, because We both. I don't know if you guys.
I have no artistic ability at all, so that doesn't help either. I have none.
Sometimes I try to explain it. He'll be like, okay, and then I'll do it. He'll be like, oh, okay. So a lot of time I have to go find the things that I'm looking for to give him an idea. Okay, this is what I was thinking. Then I'll show it to him, and he'll be like, okay, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
ECG said, I got you, bro. I'm traveling a lot this year. Yeah, dude, we need to link up. You, me, and Nani to go ahead and have a, I don't know, a meeting of some sorts, man. Are you more active on Twitter or Instagram? Is there any way that I'll drop my links in case you don't want to have like your personal links or anything like that out there. If you want to shoot us a message, maybe within the next week or so, whenever we both have some free times, we can schedule something. I know for us, generally our days that we do meetings are normally like Sunday evenings, every now and then Friday evenings, and then or like a Monday, or I'm sorry, not a Monday, a Tuesday. So it's either like Tuesday, Friday, or Sunday are like our good days where we don't have a whole lot going on that we can try and link up, man. I'd love to chat with you, man.
Mm-hmm. Pick your brain.
Yeah, for sure, man. But it is 11:30, guys, and this was definitely a fun stream. I really appreciate everyone that has came and tuned in. ECG, you definitely will hear from us soon, man. Just like I said, send us a message on one of those. That way, I know what's the easiest way to get in contact with you, and we'll talk and set something up. We can definitely work something out. I know you said you can work with you guys behind the scenes. I definitely don't want to overload you with anything, even if it's just some general ideas that you can kind of point us in a direction. I think that'd be really cool, man. We know you got a lot of stuff going on, but I truly appreciate everyone.
That is his link. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'm not saying it because I'm just trying to get him. We want to get him to work with us. The content is top tier. Like when it comes to sports content, top tier.
We always say, like, we are a fan channel. We are real fan sports. We don't claim to be experts. We don't know all the X's and the O's and how everything works and all that stuff. We give y'all our fans' point of view, our eye test of what we think of players, teams, our play-by-plays. We try to make it entertaining. We try to have fun and commentate. We don't go out of our lane and try to tell y'all that we know everything, because I guarantee you we'd be lying our asses off if we said that.
That's why we call ourselves fanalists and not
fanalists, right? But ECG, if y'all want some information and y'all want to also have some really good laughs, the whole crew over there is so fun, man. I follow just about every single one of them on YouTube. ECG, you do need to set up something. I don't know if you have it in your Discord, but there is a way to set up in your Discord where you can have everyone that has a YouTube channel that you approve, that it can show when they go live or when they post a video. That way people that might not follow each individual, they'll still have those updates so they can find their channel easily. Because I know Papa Sora has one. I know Keys has a channel and stuff like that, but I never know what to search to find them. But I would definitely love to support them. That'd be an easy way for them to be able to get their content out to people that just follow you. Or
if you have the it's Me6 bot, MEE6 bot, I think that's the one you can set up to tie in with your Discord, and it'll show who's going live at what time, or who just uploading a video. You can do that with the it's MEE6, and it's a bot for Discord.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But anyway, without further ado, guys, really appreciate you all for being here. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for taking part in the draft last week. We have another draft coming up on Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time. That'll be for RFS Fantasy Football 2. We do still have some room in there if anybody wants to join. We're at 8 spots, so we need at oh wait, I typed in the wrong thing. Hold up, that's the wrong one. Fantasy. So we have 8 spots. We would like to get up somewhere between 10 to 12. So if you'd like to join, feel free to click that link, joining the league. It's a free league, but if you do win, you will get a customized prize from me and Nonpfixion. Last year, we made a custom pint glass similar to this with your favorite team's logo. And then in the description, it says RFS FF champion with the year. So please come take part in that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And just thank you guys. We'll catch y'all next time on Friday.
And then just before we get off, bro, whenever I'm usually up at nighttime. So okay, so cool. We'll definitely reach out, man. And then the poll, we had 13 votes. 31% said hex no, trash. 23% said my blind grandma did better. And then 15% say RFS guesses was pretty mid and don't care, but I'm here. I'm gonna be honest, I understand the trolling, but we really only missing like 5 teams, so I'm not even mad.
I'm not even mad. It's just our misses were bad. Our misses were bad.
Well, those teams got to stop being asked 90% of the time. So
hey, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. All right,
well,
guys.
appreciate you guys, man.
Catch y'all next time. See y'all on Friday. Y'all have a great night.
Yep, Friday, draft number 2, fantasy group number 2. Appreciate you, love you. Catch you next one. Hit us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. We're all there, baby. Peace out.
Cheers.